12 months, they're telling their customers no. Get a new system purchase with no payments and no interest for a whole year. You heard that right. Purchase a brand new system in 2024 and get no payments and no interest until 2025. Do what I did. Call AAA Heating and Air today for your free estimate. 803-677-1500. Tell them Bill Gunner sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Bill Gunner for Old Tommy Meat Market. What better way to spend a great night with your family than with some great cuts of meat from Old Tommy Meat Market? You can grill out, whether it's your family, your friends. Old Tommy Meat Market has plenty of Traeger grills in stock. Plenty of pellets, rubs, sauces, and accessories too. Come on by Old Tommy Meat Market in Lexington today to take a good look at the many sizes of Traeger grills. Old Tommy Meat Market and Traeger grills, a perfect combination.
Old Tommy Meat Market. Quality selection, a cut above the rest.
Get ready to smile because Herndon Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy dealer, is offering an amazing deal right now. Get up to $20,000 off new Silverados. Yes, you heard that right. Up to $20,000 off. Don't wait. Head over to HerndonChevy.com today and drive home in the truck of your dreams. Chevy, together let's drive.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
Call 803-510-5447 for complete details.
WNKT FM Eastover, Columbia.
Congrats to the Gamecocks women on another national championship.
A Cumulus media station.
The Halftime Show, sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina.
Not feeling like yourself? Call the Men's Clinic at 803-875-MENS.
The Halftime Show on the Game Network and the 107.5 The Game app.
I just want to hear the intro. Because that's the Ramones. We have to listen to the Ramones.
Well, fortunately, it's only a clip part of the song. We don't have to sit here for the next 30 minutes. Just listen to the whole thing.
I've told you, if I'm driving down the road, Ramones come on.
Everybody else has to shut up.
The kids must stop talking because it's the Ramones.
Now, I don't care what you did at school. It's the Ramones. Shut up.
Don't care. I don't care about the bone sticking out of your arm. I could care about nothing. The Ramones are out on the stereo.
If you don't shut up, I'm going to take that A you got on your test and throw it out the window.
Right, kid. I'll teach you. I'll make them give you detention at school. We were having fun with the pop punk thing in here.
A good time.
On Friday. Punk. Was that Friday or Thursday?
Thursday. That was the day.
That was good times.
That was Bill's 300th vacation day of the year.
Exactly. Because he's only got 10 left. He's got 65 left.
Yeah. This month.
So, but it was funny. We're sitting here talking about these pop punk bands. Some of them think like they're punk bands. It's like, oh no.
Sure.
Oh no. Because you pop punk bands have some musical ability.
Yes.
The original pop punk people, the original punk bands, they didn't care about if they had any musicianship at all. They were going to grab an instrument and just sing stuff.
Right.
That's all they cared. And then the Ramones. I love the Ramones deeply. The Ramones aren't teaching master classes in musicianship. Never would have. But that's okay. Because they were cool to listen to.
That's right.
And I would never be able to teach a master class in musicianship either. So we have something in common.
Fair.
All right. So anyway, we are still waiting. We haven't seen it yet, right?
Not yet. I'm feverishly refreshing Twitter as we speak. Sometime soon.
Waiting for that first depth chart. The official depth chart.
Did you ever think you would get to a point in your life or a career path where you're just waiting for a piece of paper with a list of names on it this badly?
No. Really, in the big picture, they sit across the street and go,
Wait. They think it's coming now. Let's wait 10 more minutes.
Yeah, this is so much fun. And they go, yeah, they really look forward to this.
You know those people that will twirl their finger before hitting send on something? Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing right now.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
They've got it. It's ready.
Mm-hmm. They're just going.
Nothing's changed since 9 a.m. when they had their last meeting or practice or whatever to confirm things. Mm-hmm. It's typed up. It's ready.
Well, I remember when Clayton White, was it 2 years ago, when Clayton was doing one of his pressers, and Clayton was like, you guys know we put about 5 or 10 minutes of thought into that, right?
Well, and the funny thing was, as the season went on last year, the depth chart was almost kind of delayed a week because whatever the depth chart that came out on Monday was typically correlated to the game before, even when you knew somebody was injured in that game and they weren't going to be starting the next week.
Well, that was the thing that I always hear the jokes about Muschamp. There could be a dude who had major surgery on every CL in his leg, and Muschamp kept him a starter the whole year.
Yeah. Like, oh, lost that guy in week 3. Why is he still a starter in week 9?
Yeah, it's your depth chart.
Hey, he's got a leg.
There you go. He's got one more. He's got one. Hey, one down, one to go with those legs.
That's why you got 2 of them.
That's right. Just saying. So we are waiting patiently, or maybe not patiently. We're waiting for the depth chart to pop out, and it'll be out sometime this afternoon. We'll jump into that with you. Okay, real quick, since we're talking depth chart, and it hasn't come out yet, who will be the 3 wide receivers listed top? There will be a lot of oars. A lot of oars on that depth chart for wide receiver.
That's the $1 million question. I think it's the thing we're most interested to see is, okay, and there's probably going to be a lot of oars. Who's at least listed first of those oars? You know what I mean? Like
Well, that's what we do, right?
Exactly.
That's where we go.
Well, I know it says he's not a starter, but he's listed first.
But he's the first oar.
Well, they went alphabetical.
Right.
Well, still. Man, there's so many combinations of this.
I think Jared Brown will be one of the first line in the oars. The transfer from Coastal.
Right.
I think he'll be there.
Dre Jacobs has gotten a lot of buzz.
Hey, Jacobs, he's gotten a lot of legit buzz. He might be there. We remember our Gamecock Central buds, they put Mazio Bennett in there with those two.
They seem pretty confident that he's going to be out there.
All right, we got to think of someone who could crack that 3, though. I mean, Larvadane's not healthy, or he might crack that 3. It might be, if Larvadane's healthy, I bet you'll be Larvadane ahead of Bennett.
Probably, but yeah, the injury, and we don't know the extent of that necessarily. We just know he's been banged up. And
lower body is all we know.
We haven't heard a lot about him through fall camp.
Right.
So,
and they didn't really volunteer that until someone asked about Gage Larvadane.
On the second time around when Eliza remembered.
Right. So out of those 3, all right, could we see Nick Harbor or Campbell pop ahead of Bennett?
I feel like those 2 guys are going to be listed together.
And they might be the second level of oars.
Yeah, maybe. Again, that's why this is such a tough question.
I know.
Any of these combinations could happen.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be surprised by any of it.
No, not really.
Because none of and we heard this twice last week. We didn't hear it once, we heard it twice. We heard it once from Dow Loggins and once from Shane saying these wide receivers really haven't separated from each other.
Right.
So the oars might be real in this case. It might not just be, paper oars.
Well, you have to beg the question of, okay, has nobody separated because everybody's that good, or just nobody's good enough?
You hope it's A, right? Because we haven't seen it.
Yes.
But the way they've said it makes it feel like B.
Right.
Because they're not saying this, man, these guys are all playing so well, it's so tough to pick through it. They just say this, nobody's really separated.
Yeah, they're all the same.
And we heard drops in the 2 scrimmages. So as much as we want it to be A, because all these guys are playing so good, we can't choose from them.
They're all superstars. Oh.
It almost feels like, no one's really taking a step forward.
Sure.
So we'll see. But I think offensive line, the combination of what we've heard and some guys being nicked up makes that one easier than we thought.
I think the intriguing thing about the offensive line is the backups more than anything else, which, again, hopefully don't have to get to that point. But if you do, who are your second line of defense there?
I feel like, if this truly is the way we hear Lee, Simpkins, Bell, Thompson, Henry, then Tree is going to back up the tackle position. Ball will back up the guard position. And was it Brubaker? Who is it that's backing up? Was it Bruce Simpkins? Would he be the backup center? Because remember, Simpkins played center last year as well.
Maybe.
And then you would slide Ball into guard and move Simpkins to center if something, God forbid, happened to Lee?
Sure. Maybe.
I feel like you got 7 right now that they're feeling okay with.
Yeah, now Moore's
hurt.
Parks also hurt.
Parks is hurt.
So you've got...
And the reason we're not hearing about Marquis Anderson makes me feel like he's not 100% either right now because they love him.
Sure.
He just seems like he's having another bout with the injury deal. But for example, if Anderson was healthy, I think he really would have fought for a starting spot. They really like Marquis Anderson.
Right.
So we'll see. But I feel like Baugh would be the backup at guard. And possibly if Lee got hurt, Simpkins would move into center. And then Baugh would pop into the guard spot. And then I think Tree is the backup at the tackle positions. That's my guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So we'll see with that. Tight end's pretty cut and dry.
Yep.
At this point. Running back's pretty cut and dry at this point. I think you have, obviously, Sanders and Attaway are the top two. And then the third one's interesting.
Yeah. Do you go Jordan Howell?
I feel like
Fuller?
Howell's sitting in the third spot, but Fuller's gotten a lot of love in this camp.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think about? I mean, does DJ Braswell, from an experience standpoint, get a nod? I mean, we haven't heard a lot about him this offseason. I like that. A lot of this is deciphering, okay, who have we heard about and who have we not heard about?
I know. Because we do go, okay, I haven't heard much about Braswell. So maybe he's fallen back. Or go over that. That's why we asked about Larverdane. We hadn't heard about Gage Larverdane the entire summer.
Sure.
We're like, where's the dude? All we heard about in the spring was Larverdane. And we heard nothing. And you're like, okay, what's up? So that's the same thing. We haven't heard really about Braswell. Heard a little bit about him in the spring. He had a couple nice runs in the spring game.
Right.
But we hadn't really heard about him in the summer camp. We heard a lot about Fuller. At wide receiver, we've heard about Brown in spring and summer.
Mm-hmm.
Heard about Bennett in some way, shape, or form in spring or summer. Remember, Jacobs wasn't around in the spring. Harbor wasn't around in the spring. Campbell wasn't around in the spring. I mean, so it is interesting. The wide receiver position on offense becomes the most intriguing. And, man, I'm glad we got that quarterback battle out of the way.
I was going to say, I'm glad not that it was a shock, but they went ahead. Instead of us having to anticipate, what if it's not? Like, okay, yeah, Sellers is the guy. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe they'd list Bevel at number 2 and would be surprised by that,
right.
But it doesn't sound like that's going to happen either.
No, it feels like, Ashford's planted at the 2 and Bevel's the 3, and we feel like they'll be slapping the red shirt on Dante Reno. Defensively, it's just how you're going to list a bunch of guys, right? Because you kind of know where you're at. Kennard will start on an edge. Edmonds will start on. Gilbert Edmond will start on an edge. I think Stewart will be the backup on one of those two, and he'll be in there in pass rushing situations. Mm-hmm. And then inside, you're rotating a bunch of guys. Probably Boogie and Tonka get the start, but you'll be seeing a lot of the other guys as well. Jules, Sanders, Goodwine. Linebacker again. Bam Martin Scott and Debo and Knight seem to have separated themselves a bit.
Right.
And then probably the number 4 guy is Kamara, I would guess. And then Johnson, the freshman, and then Mo Cobb is still coming back from injury.
Right. It's best guess.
That's
see.
Our best guess. And then the corner would be, across from Fortune feels like Collier.
Yeah, that's what all the indications up to this point have been. Now, Beamer did say they're all going to play.
Right.
But it seems like Collier's kind of led the way up to this point.
And look, and when defense, it's a wave of dudes. Like, whoever the starters are, the 2s are going to get run. Heck, the 3s in some cases are going to get on the field.
And that's the thing, too, with the receiver. I mean, you're going to see a lot of guys play on Saturday. Like, you could have a different set of 3 guys come out there for the second drive than you had on the first drive. So, again, it's a lot of a feeling out process, and that's the – I don't say advantage. That's the thing you like about playing an Old Dominion type team that, again, as long as you handle your business and win this game by comfortable margin, you can get a lot of guys on the field and you can figure out what you need to do before week number 2.
Yeah, I mean, like last year. Look, it's fun to play, I guess, interesting games, right? Cupcakes bore people.
Sure.
They just do because you're going to slap the crap out of them.
But from the functional element of the program, they're great.
No, I mean, and really, if you think about last year for a minute, you played North Carolina out the gate. And Rattler got sacked, what was it, 9 times, 19 times, 29 times? I've lost track. And in a way, if you think back, man, eating some cupcake would have been good in week 1 instead of going up against a team that hung in the top 25 most of the year.
Yeah. Well, think about it like this. Let's say you put the Vanderbilt game number 1 and you put North Carolina later on in the season. Smoke Vanderbilt. You play Furman in week number 2, dominate them. Then you go on the road to Georgia and you lead them at halftime in week number 3. Oh my! What's our conversation about this team at that point in time?
Much different deal, right? And that's the thing. It's that's why I as much as Mark Stoops the Mark Stoops thing makes me shake my head in how he's cracked that code at a basketball school.
Sure.
I mean, that's why he doesn't want an 8-game schedule. That's why he likes himself a nice plate of cupcakes early in the year. Get some W's, make people feel good till midnight madness, and they don't care anymore.
Exactly.
But you're right. If South Carolina let's say they didn't have North Carolina, they would have gone another direction and would have had an Old Dominion type of team, or like you said, Vanderbilt. And all of a sudden, you've got a couple wins under your belt, and you play really well against Georgia, where that's a football game for 4 quarters.
Sure.
Then how you feeling? And then, of course, if you would have had that team there, you would have had your 6 wins.
Sure.
So this year, I think having with all the question marks you have, starting with Old Dominion works out very well. Just does. All right, halftime show. Terry Ford, Tyler Head. We'll be. I think we're going to make football tickets today, my man.
That's correct. We will have some of those today.
So be ready for that. So that'll be coming up between now and 3 o'clock. Sponsored by our buddies at Honda Powerhouse, Carolina Honda Powerhouse. That's coming up sometime between now and 3 o'clock. It's a halftime show. We'll come back in here. Football in week 0. We'll get into some Georgia Tech, Florida State next. Terry Ford, Tyler Head, here on The Game.
107.5 The Game.
In Columbia.
100.5 The Game.
In Florence.
100.3 The Game.
In Myrtle Beach. The Game Network. Sibs and Sounds, Saturday, September 28th at the Carolina Haven.
It's the only craft beer, wine, and spirits tasting event that is indoors under the cool AC.
Over 40 brands of local, regional, and national craft beers, wine, seltzers.
Live music by Ken and Drew of Sister Hazel, Dazer, and the Donovan Twins.
Get your early bird unlimited tasting wristbands starting at just $35 at sibsandsoundscola.com. sibsandsoundscola.com. 107.5 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Take up to $20,000 off new Silverados.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
Hey guys, Jay Phillips here for my good friends at Integrated Media, Columbia's leader in today's technology for your home and business. They've got TVs from Sony and Samsung, surround sound systems from Dolby, Sonos wireless speakers, Wi-Fi that works everywhere, even cameras to see what's going on around your home. They've got you covered. Call Integrated Media at 803-948-8327. Set up a time for them to come out to your house and talk with you about your wants and your needs. You want to cut the cord? They can help. Want one of those beautiful Samsung frame TVs that looks like art when it's not turned on? They do that too. Plus fantastic outdoor systems that let you enjoy your favorite team, movie, TV show, or music while you also enjoy our beautiful South Carolina weather. You can even stop in and see them at the Experience Center, 105 Snapdragon Court in Chapin, and get a real idea of what these things look like in your home. Do what I've done, and many of your friends and neighbors. Call 803-948-8327 and get home theater like never before from Integrated Media.
There's no better place to be on a fall Saturday than at Williams-Brice Stadium. Single game tickets for the 2024 Gamecock football season are on sale now. Discounted single game tickets are also available for first responders, teachers, military, and more. To see what's planned for the 2024 season and to purchase tickets, visit GamecocksOnline.com/2024. Whatever the game, whoever you're with, just catch a game.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevy, where the winning is only beginning. South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Honey, would you take a seat? I have a confession to make.
What is it? What's wrong?
Well, I was out driving today and I saw some hookers on the side of the road. A bunch of huge, professional, beautiful-looking hookers. So I did what I was supposed to do. I slowed down and I moved over.
You slowed down for the hookers?
Well, yeah, it's the law. There was a whole fleet of Schroeder's towing trucks assisting with an accident. Wait, what did you think I was talking about?
Schroeder's Towing reminds you to slow down and move over for all first responders.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
Did you know you could use your body's own healing properties to revitalize your achy joints? I didn't. Well, guess what? The good folks at QC Kinetics can help you with real lasting pain relief. Hey, it's Preston Thorne, and I'm talking about regenerative medicine at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics has new medicine, and I tell you what, they didn't have this way back in the days when I used to play. Go all the way back to 2004. If you had a torn ACL, that was it. But now the good folks at QC Kinetics can give you solid new advice and help you enhance your joints, improve mobility, and get back to doing the stuff you love. I wish I would have had this way back then. You can enhance your joints and improve mobility and get back to doing the stuff you love, whatever that is, playing ball, playing with your kids, walking, or just getting out of a chair. Without pain and without drugs, no surgery, and especially no downtime. Call them up for a consultation. It's totally free. Give them a call at 803-281-6860. That's 803-281-6860.
Since 1963, Takeuchi has been a pioneer in the compact construction industry, having developed the world's first compact excavator in 1971 and the world's first compact rubber track loader in 1986. Takeuchi continues to revolutionize the industry through innovative technology and listening to customer needs. Now you can partner with a truly global leader by contacting TEC Rental Equipment in West Columbia, Orangeburg, and Somerville. From world first to world leader, Takeuchi.
Have a passion for serving children and families? Apply to become a child welfare case manager at dss.sc.gov. This message is sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Social Services.
Halftime Show, sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina, on your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
And the 107.5 The Game app.
44 yards away to do it.
There's Joe Tessitore.
You know he was practicing that all week,
right? Absolutely he had that. Please. Oh, Joe Tessitore on the call.
You think he was sitting up there in the booth like, okay, like he had a checklist: pot of gold, Lucky Charms, leprechaun, four-leaf clover.
Sure.
The color green, beer.
Yeah.
Just all the cliches of Ireland.
Yeah. Anything about Irish Spring soap. Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Joe was ready. You know, because, look, we all know a bunch of play-by-play guys.
Sure.
And there's not all of them. There's a percentage of them, though, that are what we're kidding about right now. They do.
Oh. But
they do.
But, like, Joe Tess is great. Like, I love Tessitore. He's a great play-by-play guy.
I like him doing college football.
Yeah.
He's okay with the boxing.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL wasn't his bag.
I don't even remember him doing the NFL.
Yeah, it just wasn't his bag. He did some NFL stuff with I think he did Monday Night Football for ESPN with him and Booger and tight end Jason played with the Cowboys.
Witten.
Jason, yeah.
Witten. Yeah.
That was a disaster. Remember Booger was on the Boogermobile?
Yeah, I remember the Boogermobile, and I remember when
I believe it was Tessitore and Witten.
When Steve Levy did, and he didn't have the chops for Monday Night Football.
I remember, like, for example, Sean McDonough, I love him in college football and love McDonough on baseball. He did Monday Night Football for a little bit.
Yeah.
Certain people are the right fit for stuff, and certain people just doesn't work.
McDonough replaced Tirico, and he was with Gruden, and it just, like, Tirico and Gruden just had the perfect back and forth, and, yeah, ever since then, it's just kind of been this revolving door.
Yeah, I mean, and Sunday Night Football passed Monday Night Football a long time ago in relevance.
Oh, sure, 1,000%.
So, I like Joe Tessitore in college football. I think he does a nice job. And on boxing, he's solid on boxing. He really is. Very underrated boxing announcer is Tessitore. There's the call from Joe Tessitore on the end of the Georgia Tech win over Florida State. Look, we sat here all last week and said Georgia Tech will cover. Yep. Georgia Tech will hang around, possibly, keep it interesting for 4 quarters. But if you would have told me that Georgia Tech would line up for 60 minutes and punk Florida State at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, I'd have been like, yeah, sure, have another shot.
Sure.
I didn't see and look, if you would have told me Georgia Tech wins, I wouldn't have been surprised. Because, again, Florida State's adding all these new pieces, lost a lot of people to the NFL, a lot of transfer portal stuff. And, that's always going to be every year you're starting over, right? So, I mean, if Georgia Tech would win, let's say Haynes King went nuts.
Yeah.
They threw for a ton of yards. Then you go, okay, stuff happens. But if you'd have told me Georgia Tech is going to line up and punch Florida State in the face.
Just physically dominate them.
No way.
Outgained them 190-98, which half those yards Florida State, over half, actually came on their opening drive where they went down there and scored the first touchdown. But, yeah, from then, tackles for losses, sacks. Like, they manhandled Florida State in the trenches the entire game, which, again, that was a Florida State defense that was touted as one of the best defensive lines in the entire country. Saban said that on game day before the game.
Yep. And you look at it now, like you look at the Florida State defensive metric numbers. You go in a little bit of Pro Football Focus. Hey, you don't need Pro Football Focus to tell you Florida State couldn't tackle a statue.
I would love to be a fly on the wall, and maybe they're still flying back. I don't know. I imagine they're back by now. Film study today in Tallahassee on defense. Oh, boy.
Tackling was terrible. The tackling was bad.
Is this going to get it done? Is this going to get it done? 22. Is this going to get it done? Where are you going, boy?
Are you getting the rewind? Play it again? Rewind?
You trying to give him a high five as he's running by you? Is that what you're doing?
Are you just giving him a quick hug? Is that what you're doing? Like a big hug? Just saying hello?
Well, and that was the thing. They just look so, and I get it, like week 1, week 0, it's not going to be the prettiest football. They look very undisciplined. Yeah. They just looked like they were just flailing their arms out there. You know what I mean? Like, that's not, and yeah, they lost a lot of talent from a year ago. That's not how a top 10 team should look in week 1.
No, it looked like a team that was put together through the transfer portal, and they haven't kind of gotten it together yet. And the good news is for Florida State, in the new world order now, this loss doesn't kill you anymore.
No, and that's the new reality we have to get used to in college football, where in years past, they lost week number 1. They can't go with the national champion. Their season might be over now.
They can't lose another game all year.
Lose another game. Like, they're on pins and needles the entire year. Florida State could lose like 3 times, but as long as they win the ACC championship game, which is still very possible, they're in.
Right.
And they get a bye.
Exactly. If they got themselves in position to be in the top 2 in the ACC and won the ACC championship game, they could be a 3-loss team and they're in the playoffs.
That's the new reality we have to get used to.
That's the world. And really, if you're any of these teams, like let's go back to Florida State, I mean, you just concentrate on finishing in the top 2 in the conference.
Right.
That's it. That's what you need to worry about. So, yeah, that was, and everybody always wants to point at quarterbacks for the good and the bad and everything. Was DJU great? No. I mean, really, Norvell didn't let him do anything, to be quite honest.
He was DJU. I mean, in the first half, and again, you've got new wide receivers, you got a new quarterback in there. They probably don't have the chemistry down pat just yet, but yeah, I mean, when all of his throws are at or around the line of scrimmage in the first half of that game, that's keeping him on a leash. He opened it up a little bit more in the second half, and they put together a very impressive scoring drive the last time they had the football. It's just they couldn't stop Georgia Tech to save their lives.
You know what's interesting is, again, and you're right, offensively, their big issue was, first of all, Georgia Tech just won the line of scrimmage. The Florida State offensive line just got beat.
Yeah.
And DJU, like you said, I mean, he's DJU. I mean, Uiagalelei is just he's okay. He's not terrible. He's not great.
It looked like he looked better at Oregon State than he did at Clemson. Now, it wasn't like leaps and bounds better, but you say, okay, like he just seems a little more poised, I guess is the best word.
He's been around for 10 years.
Yeah, right.
He's turned 30.
Seems that way. So I think there was a hope that he was going to take another step forward coming back to the ACC and coming to Florida State. And again, it's one game.
Mm-hmm.
He's still got at least 11 more of them to go. And that can all change. And we could be saying, man, we wrote him off in week 1, and look at this. He's in the race for the Heisman or something like that. I don't think that's going to happen, but there's always the chance you can progress and get better. But for what we saw in week number 1, yeah, it didn't seem like Norvell really wanted to let him loose.
If you look at the breakdown of the numbers, again, first of all, throwing through the quadrants, 5 for 5 at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage in this game. Between 0 and 10 yards over the line of scrimmage. Uyunglele, 5 of 6, 7 of 9, 8 of 10. In the money area where you really want to throw the football, between 10 and 20 yards, 5 of 6, and 0 for 3 deep.
Right.
So he wasn't awful. He wasn't, wow, great, fantastic. How much of this is... I mean, you lost 2 wide receivers in the NFL draft in Wilson and Coleman.
Right.
So how much of this is your wide receiver talent isn't as good? DJU isn't as good as Jordan Travis. The offensive line didn't do you any favors. Looking really quick at pressure, Uyunglele, when kept clean in this game, went 14 of 19. Under pressure, 4 of 7. When he was blitzed 15, he won 15 attempts.
Mm-hmm.
So, his worst metrics are when he wasn't blitzed.
Yeah.
How weird is that?
When he was back there and had time to throw.
So, I mean, he got pressured a bit, but it didn't really seem to. I mean, he was pressured on 34% of his dropbacks. So that is a bit much if you just look at the deep dive numbers. So he did feel some heat. But anyway, only sacked once. So Georgia Tech, good job by the Yellow Jackets getting a W over Florida State. We'll talk more about that game coming back and what it could mean for Georgia Tech. That's next. Halftime show, Terry Ford, Tyler Head on The Game.
The Game Network in Columbia.
107.5 The Game.
In Florence.
100.5 The Game.
In Myrtle Beach.
100.3 The Game.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. A true reflection of quality.
The Game TV. From lazy days and spontaneous adventures to revving up and reconnecting, you can almost feel the excitement building, the road ahead, and a whole new season of possibilities. It's back to cool time right now at Love Chevy with amazing savings on a lot chock full of brand new Tahoes, Suburbans, and the totally redesigned Chevy Traverse. A bolder exterior design, turbocharged V6, best-in-class cargo area, plenty of space for the team and the tailgate. Speaking of football, every day is game day at Love Chevy, where it's all about the fundamentals, honesty, integrity, and straight talk. No ridiculous add-on stickers like the other guys. And who could forget about Love Chevy's $1,000 low price guarantee? Get back to cool today at South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer, I-26 at Harbison, and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
That's the power of love. Love Chevy.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Get ready to smile because Herndon Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy dealer, is offering an amazing deal. This month, you could drive home in a brand new Silverado 2500 with financing as low as 5.9% for up to 84 months. Head over to HerndonChevy.com today and drive home in the truck of your dreams. Together, let's drive.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
Call 803-510-5447 for complete details.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late night bites.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Hey, this is Jen Jensen for CHW Cabinetry. My family is using CHW Cabinetry, and they are fantastic to work with. They make sure you're satisfied with every step of the process. Not only do their photorealistic renderings show exactly what your new space will look like, their job site guarantees everyone is on the same page, literally. Experience the CHW difference for yourself. Go to chwcabinetry.com to see more, or call them at 803-520-6837, and be sure to tell them Jen Jensen sent you. CHW Cabinetry, passion from inspiration to installation.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen here. Join me and my compadre, Chris Brockman, every Monday on the Overreaction Monday podcast. I'm also saying the record's going to go down.
I'm saying the record's going down anyway. The guy.
I don't think you're off on this at all. Like, you're spot on here. I don't think this is an overreaction because we have no idea what we're reacting to. Come react or overreact with us. How would you say that? An overreaction, sir. Overreaction Monday. Wherever you listen, it's game over.
Over, man.
What you're talking about.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
On the Game Network.
Waiting for the depth chart is what's going on, what we're talking about.
Wasn't that a play?
Terry Ford, Tyler Head halftime show here on the Game. We've talked about Georgia Tech's win on Saturday over Florida State. Still on the depth chart?
Still waiting.
Still waiting on the depth
Nothing
chart?
yet.
Okay.
I said before you put your headphones on, wasn't that a play? Waiting for depth chart?
Yes. Great play.
The lesser-known successor to Waiting for Godot.
Yeah. I mean, really, Waiting for depth chart was very underrated. Very underrated play.
Very emotional.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk about it.
Everything tissues.
I'll get a little teary just thinking about it. Every now and then I'll go on YouTube and get the final scene and just watch it.
Oh, I have the soundtrack on my
You have the soundtrack?
playlist. Oh, yeah.
Very nice.
Great one.
All right, so we're waiting for the depth chart with South Carolina. We talked about this opening riff of the show. It'll be interesting to see how the wide receiver depth chart sets up, also the offensive line and the corner spot across from O'Donnell Fortune. We'll see also we know that all these guys in the front two levels of defense are going to get playing time. It's just how is the depth chart going to set it up. Also, Georgia Tech, their win over Florida State. We kind of focused on Florida State there in the beginning because, well, they were supposed to win and win by double digits, even though we figured Georgia Tech would cover. All right, let's get Brent Key, the head coach at Georgia Tech, who, by the way, has done a really nice job.
Absolutely.
In Atlanta. Here's Key talking about, here's how the Yellow Jackets won the game.
As a former offensive lineman, how much pride did you have watching that group control the line of scrimmage?
Are you kidding me? Run the ball.
Well, you did that extremely well.
Run the ball.
And that's not B-A-L-L. That's B-A-W-L.
Yes.
Ball.
Run the ball.
He is from Birmingham.
And they did.
Right down their throats.
5.3 yards a pop. I always look at yards per carry when I'm looking at rushing stats. Because sometimes you run it really well, you just don't run enough.
Yep.
Or sometimes you run a ton, and it looks good like the yards, but then you realize, you average 3.4 yards a carry.
I was going to say 190 yards on 70 attempts. Doesn't look as good.
Not so good. But when you go over 5 yards a pop,
sure,
that was nice. I thought Haynes King, this sounds so, because it's such a negative now, but it wasn't in this case, managed the game very well.
Sure, yeah. I mean, and here's the thing with Haynes King. Very efficient last year, had a lot of turnovers, led the FBS in interceptions, so he made careless mistakes. He didn't do any of that on Saturday. And, they didn't ask him to go out there and throw for 300 yards, and it is going to be interesting to see what he does when they do open up the passing game a little bit more. But, again, he didn't do anything to put you in trouble on Saturday.
No, and one of a Haynes King moment, though, did come on the final drive.
Oh, with the low snap.
The low snap, the fumble Ruski almost.
Which, I mean, that
it really wasn't his fault.
Yeah, that's more on the center, and you had the receiver that was making the cross that threw him off a little bit. But
no, the whole thing was a foobar.
But it certainly looked like one of those things. Like, okay, that's going to derail them. They're going to be out of field goal range. They're going to be too long, and they're going to miss the field goal. And then you get Florida State, who just had their best drive of the game, the series before. They're going to be in position. They're either going to win the game or take it overtime.
Yeah. And what Haynes King did on that 3rd and 17, he hits the pass to Singleton for 12.
Yep.
Now you're back in field goal range. And King on the fumble Ruski didn't try to do anything stupid.
Yep.
Because when you're a turnover-prone quarterback, sometimes you're turnover-prone because you try to do things you shouldn't be doing.
Sure.
That was Bo Nix's problem at Auburn. He kept trying to do Superman stuff and ended up being a fumble or a nice throw, Bo. Problem is we're not wearing Mississippi State jerseys.
Right.
So sometimes when you're turnover prone, you just try to do too much, or you believe so much in your ability, you think you can do things that maybe you can do it sometimes, but there's a time and place for those attempts.
Sure.
And so Haynes King, ate it, right? You just ate it, took a 10-yard loss. A lot of times you live for the next down because not every down can be, a magnificent play. It's one of the things you learn, too, when going from high school to college and college to the pros. What you could do in high school against high school dudes, you can't do in college.
Right.
Then when you get to the pros, what you could do against college dudes, you can't do against pros.
Right.
Unless you're Patrick Mahomes. So Haynes King, by not trying to do anything too much at that moment, then came back, 12-yard completion, set up the field goal. So, yes, Haynes King's numbers aren't going to wow you, but he did a nice job of managing the football game. Guess how many turnovers Georgia Tech had?
None.
0. Ran the ball really well, didn't turn over, shortened the game on Florida State, won the line of scrimmage, all that boring old school stuff. One of our sales guys upstairs goes, man, I love that kind of football. He was like slobbering from the face, and he was getting all football-y about it. Man, I love that kind of football. Just run the ball, run the ball.
Football in a phone booth.
That's right. I'm different. Don't get me wrong. My favorite teams, if they run it 100 times and win, I'm fine with it.
Sure.
Winning is the important thing. But personally, for me, I like seeing high-level passing attacks.
Mm-hmm.
I just do. Look, it's not that I hate watching teams run the ball, but let's be real. It's much more exciting watching teams spin it.
I like a good balance. I think dynamic passing, efficient run game, so you can have your options, do whatever you want.
And the one thing we always say, and I think we talk about it here, not just this show, when people talk about being balanced on offense, it doesn't mean, well, you ran it 30 times and you threw it 30 times. It means if I need to run the ball, I can run it. If I need to throw it, I can throw it. If I got to beat you throwing it, I can beat you throwing it. If I got to beat you running it, I can beat you running it.
Right.
In the last 4 minutes of the game, I can run the ball and you'll never get it back. Sort of like Georgia Tech did against Florida State.
Basically.
Or if I'm down by 8 and I'm pinned to my own 15-yard line with 1:42 to go, I can throw my way down the field.
Yep.
That's a balanced offense. It's not about running the plays. And in a perfect world, if you can do both, you're going to be a very difficult offense to stop.
For sure.
Now, Georgia Tech moving forward, before we leave this game, now all of a sudden everybody's looking at Georgia Tech's schedule.
Number one in the ACC.
Including these guys. You get Georgia State, should be a W. At Syracuse,
they're in rebuilding mode.
But we'll see how good Georgia Tech is, because that's a game you should win if you're anywhere near as good as you showed over the weekend, right?
Sure.
So you could conceivably be and then you beat VMI. So you're 4-0, no offense to the Cadets. You're 4-0 when you rumble into Louisville. Now, the Cardinal, a lot of turnover on that football team. Then you get Duke at home. Then you travel to Chapel Hill to a North Carolina team that most people feel like aren't as good as they were last year.
Mm-hmm.
Then you host Notre Dame. Everybody loves Notre Dame. Well, except this guy here. We'll see. We'll see if Coach Freeman's just like another, maybe a little bit better coaching version of Cliff Kingsbury.
He's got the looks.
Yes, he does. Looks good on the image. Looks good all around the stadium.
Listen, I'm sure when it comes to the marketability of the team, they're thrilled to have Marcus Freeman as opposed to Brian Kelly. Now, what happens on the field is a little different.
Whoa. You're disrespecting the model good looks of Brian Kelly?
Unfortunately, I am. Now, if he would have broken out that Southern accent and charmed him a little more, maybe that's a different story. But I imagine there's a lot more posters of Coach Freeman up than maybe there was of Coach Kelly.
I read a deep dive, it was ESPN.com, about Freeman and how well he's been recruiting.
Yeah. Well,
I'm wondering, you walk in that living room.
What did they say about Cliff Kingsbury?
Exactly.
You get those dreamy eyes locked on you. Your kid's not going anywhere else but Texas Tech.
That's right. But
or
Mom,
A&M or wherever he was.
But Mom, I don't want to go to Lubbock. You're going to go to Lubbock and you're going to like it.
I don't even know where Lubbock is. I don't either, but you're going.
Don't care. You're going.
And I'm staying with you.
So that's the thing. It's just... we'll see what Freeman is. A lot of people are picking Notre Dame to the college football playoff. We'll see.
They have a very manageable schedule. And
they do.
Again, they don't have a conference championship. They can't be a top 4 seed. Right. But if Notre Dame goes 10-2, you're telling me they're going to get left out? No.
Right. It's going to be interesting to see what they do traveling to College Station.
Yeah, right off the jump.
Right off the jump. All right, so they have Notre Dame. Now, this is a game that's difficult at Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech got it going at the end of last year. They're bringing back a lot of productivity. They got a nice quarterback situation. That's a tough one. You get Miami at home. You get NC State at home. Those could be difficult if those teams are as good as people think they are. Then you finish with Georgia in Athens. So, I mean, if Georgia Tech can handle their business through the early and mid part of the schedule, the end of the schedule is kind of a bear.
Sure.
Notre Dame at home, at Virginia Tech, Miami at home, NC State at home, at Georgia. At least 3 of those games are in your dojo. So we'll see, but they're set up to have a 7-win type season-ish. And if they're better than we think, who knows what could happen in the ACC with Georgia Tech. But Brent Key, nice first win. We'll come back. Firehouse Sub Text the hour, 803-404-6100. It's a halftime show. Terry Ford, Tyler Head, hang until 3 on the game.
From the Midlands to the PD to the beach.
The Game Network.
Ever been on this date?
You're a good-looking man.
Thank you.
Very pretty. Real soft, delicate features. They're real feminine.
And thought, man, I'd rather be listening to the game right now.
Welcome in to the afternoon show. Alongside Elijah Campbell, I'm Jay Phillips.
Well, just go to iTunes or Google Play and download the game app. Sure, you may no longer be with that person anymore, but you'll never be without the game again.
This is Andrew Bogish with a Sports Minute. The Blue Jays and Red Sox resume a suspended game from June this afternoon at Fenway. 2 months ago, catcher Danny Jansen was about to hit for Toronto when the rain started. Today, he's expected to play for Boston thanks to a trade last month. Not surprisingly, Jansen would be the first player in baseball history to play for both teams in the same game. I'm Andrew Bogish.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? Well, Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has helped over 35,000 families out of financial hardship by getting them out of bad timeshares, and they may be able to help you too. If you were misled into signing a timeshare agreement that is a lifetime commitment, if you were told timeshare is a great investment, or your maintenance fees will never go up, you need to get the facts about timeshare cancellation. For over 10 years, Wesley Financial Group has been dedicated to helping folks get out of a lifetime of debt by canceling their timeshares. So they created a timeshare exit information kit, which reveals how the timeshare industry works and what your options are for cancellation. Simply call Wesley right now and they will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free. See how you can become timeshare free. Call 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000. Again, 800-761-0000.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, Company. Our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-919-1441. 800-919-1441. 800-919-1441.
Wake up. Breakfast. And Nature Made vitamins. Whatever your morning sounds like, Nature Made fits right in. Whether you're looking for vitamin C or a multivitamin to get key nutrients, we've got you covered. Now that's a good morning. We take care of you so you can take on your day. Start your day with Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a Colonial with high ceilings, hardwood floors, and a peaceful neighborhood. And you found it. Now, every Saturday at 6 a.m., you get to wake to the sound of your neighbor's leaf blower. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
The Halftime Show, sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina.
It's time for Text of the Hour on the Firehouse Subs text line on the Halftime Show.
On your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence. And the 107.5 The Game app.
All right, time to check our Firehouse Sub text of the hour at 803-404-6100. What do you got there, Tyler? Head off the text line.
So this actually kind of goes back to something that Jack and I were talking about a little bit earlier. But Michael poses the question, how many rushing yards and win margin does Carolina need to have for you to feel comfortable going into Kentucky in week number 2?
That's a good one. If they could rush for, especially, we got to remember the bar's low.
It is. Very low.
So let's say if they run for $150 and over 5 yards a carry.
Okay, that sounds good. Now, again, what is the stat? When Beamer's teams rush for over 100 yards, I think they've only lost 3 times.
Yeah, that's it.
So,
also, to throw a little more deeper dive numbers in there, I'd like to see when I go to SEC StatCat, I would like to see like 4 yards before contact would be sweet.
Ooh, that the dive we went into on Friday with the analytics from Gamecock Central, that was a big one. Yards before somebody touches you.
Yeah, but I think it'd be 4 yards before contact would be nice.
They didn't have too many of those last year.
No, there was a lot of...
It was handoff, tackle.
Contact. There was a lot of contact, unfortunately. So that'll be an interesting stat to start looking at.
The win margin's interesting here because, I've talked about this several times today, the longer you let these teams hang around, like a Old Dominion, like a Jacksonville State, the better their chance to win is. And if you can't get out there and squash them in the first 2 quarters and have a comfortable lead by halftime, you're sweating a little bit coming out of the half. And as we saw, Jacksonville State nearly pulled one off on South Carolina last year. So with the line's 20 and a half right now, I mean, that's about the comfort level I would feel for this one for me, because if you're in a shootout with this Old Dominion team, yeah, winning's the most important thing. But, man, we're coming in here on Monday saying, Kentucky in week 2, how bad is this going to go?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I mean, I was going to say, you win by 3 scores, like 3 touchdowns, something like that. You want to get out and you want to crush their soul early.
Yes.
That's what you want to do. Because remember, that Jacksonville State game, it looked pretty good for bits in the first half, but then you looked up at halftime and you went, huh?
Yeah, they just couldn't get away from them.
And then they still could never get away from them. That's the last thing you want. You want to get out there. You want to just boat race Old Dominion early, get a nice comfortable lead, get to work on the things you want to work on to make your team ready to rock and roll into Lexington. So I think if you gain over 150, over 5 yards a carry, get up on Old Dominion early and win that thing by I think what you said, about 20, 21, cover. Ready?
I feel pretty good. Yeah.
Step on them early. Cover the spread. In case you see Beamer. All right, fellas, let's cover. Probably frown upon that conversation.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, I wouldn't go there if I was Shane. But, yeah, if you cover, you gain 150 on the ground, go over 5 yards of carry. I think you feel pretty good going into Lexington. And, by the way, no turnovers.
Yes.
You want to play clean. You want to see Lenore Sellers. You don't have to put up wow numbers, but you want to see him efficient.
Sure.
You don't want to see him looking like it's too big for him. You want to see him be calm and cool, like we've seen him pretty much in the little bits we've gotten to gaze at Lenore Sellers. He has been calm and cool and collected. You don't want to see the stage too big. You don't want silly decisions that could end up in turnovers.
Sure.
And you want to run the ball really well for a nice high average and cruise yourself into this into a W.
Yeah. Come away feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
There's still going to be questions. We're not going to know everything about this team. They're probably not going to. Ideally, you don't want to have to show everything and get number one. You want to be able to play some things close to the vest, win with not completely vanilla offense, but offense where you still have a few tricks up your sleeve. Go into that week 2 game against Kentucky. Don't let anybody get hurt. That's the biggest thing. Nobody gets injured. And then we come away next Monday on Reaction Monday saying, all right, that's exactly what you needed to do.
Wouldn't it be nice to run for a $190 at 5.3 yards a carry like Georgia Tech did?
That would be phenomenal. That means you probably had a pretty good day.
Yeah. So I feel like to the answer to the texter, yeah, if you can run for me over 150, over 5 yards a carry, and what Tyler said, win, cover the number, and clean when it comes to turnovers, and put this thing away early.
Yes.
Don't screw around. Just,
The halftime conversations in the concourse should be joyous.
Yes.
It doesn't be, oh, man, they're getting the ball to start the second half. How's this going to go?
Exactly. So that's really what we want to see. And to answer the question to the texter. So thank you very much, 803-404-6100. Of course, Gamecocks game day. We get cooking, Tyler and I, at 11 a.m.
Hopefully
in the party lot.
Hopefully we're not actually cooking because it is going to be hot.
Yeah, I tell you what, that last week was so nice.
Yeah.
Scary how nice last week was.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
I was sitting on the beach in Lewis, Delaware on Saturday.
Yeah.
Watching Georgia Tech and Florida State on my phone. And
as one does. The only person in the state of Delaware doing that, probably.
No one else cared in Delaware but me. But, man, the weather was perfect. And then Friday for the golf tournament here, weather was perfect. So you know what's going to happen this Saturday.
Brutal.
Absolutely. All right, football in the 1 o'clock hour coming up next here on the Halftime Show on the Game.
107.5 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Take up to $20,000 off new Silverados.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
If you have tax problems, it can affect all aspects of your life. Now's the time to do something about it. Hi, I'm local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm. Everyone at our firm truly believes we can improve the lives of our clients by eliminating the stress and worry of IRS tax problems. We're a local South Carolina law firm dedicated to resolving your tax problems for good. Simply put, we solve tax problems. So if you're facing IRS tax liens, bank or wage levies, or have years of unfiled tax returns, come meet with us in person. Your first visit is free and confidential. We'll show you how we will solve your problem and how much it'll cost. So don't put it off any longer. Call us now at 803-771-9800. That's 803-771-9800. Or go to our website at irsproblemsolving.com. It is time to do something about that tax problem. Your solution is right here in South Carolina, so hire a South Carolina attorney. Hire me, John Ecton.
There's never been a more affordable way to get on the water than during the inventory clearance sale at Mid-Carolina Marine. Get the boat of your dreams and cruise away with unbeatable savings on center consoles, bay boats, pontoons, deck boats, and more. Special rock bottom pricing on remaining Stingray boats and Berkshire pontoons. Create lifelong memories with these affordable boats, perfectly designed for family fun and excitement. Make this the year you finally get on the water. 718 Sunset Boulevard in West Columbia, or visit Mid-Carolina Marine SouthCarolinaMarine.com.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Strengthening the lives of children and families is a passion. Turn that passion into results as a child welfare case manager. Learn more at dss.sc.gov. This message is sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Social Services.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
This year, Roy and Dana Finley are shaking things up at AAA Heating and Air. For the next 12 months, they're telling their customers no. Get a new system purchase with no payments and no interest until 2025. And don't forget their 15-year parts and labor warranty, $1,500 old system buyback, and guaranteed financing. So do what I did. Call AAA Heating and Air for your free estimate today and tell them Jay Phillips sent you.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
The home of the national champion, Gamecocks women's basketball team. Congrats, y'all.
A Cumulus media station.
The Halftime Show, sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina.
Not feeling like yourself? Call the Men's Clinic at 803-875-MENS.
It's 1 o'clock. That means football. Football. And more football on the Halftime Show.
Is sponsored by Atlantic Window and Door. Go to awdsc.com.
On the Game Network and the 107.5 The Game app.
They're gonna put me in the movies.
1 o'clock hour, football. Sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors here on the Halftime Show on the Game. Terry Ford, Tyler Head. All right, here in just a little bit, we'll hear from Ricky Rain, the head coach at Old Dominion, in what Tyler tells me is a very compelling presser.
Well, the stuff that I was able to pull sounds okay, but to show you the difference between, Power 4, where Shane Beamer meets with the media in a nice, I don't even know, one of the meeting rooms, I guess, nice backdrop and, good microphones and all that kind of stuff, high-quality video. This was done on the field after practice with just a scrum of reporters standing there, and a car alarm starts going off about halfway through it and proceeds for about 3 or 4 minutes that, hurt the quality of some of the answers.
So that was worse than the leaf blower?
Leaf blower guy, I feel like he was doing it on purpose, right?
Yeah.
Like it was a thing that we ran with for a couple
We had a lot of
games,
fun with
couple
leaf
weeks.
blower guy with Mark Kingston, yeah.
With somebody at the science building's car alarm starts going off, and hey, we're trying to talk to the coach over here. Eventually goes off. But no, I liked leaf blower guy.
Leaf blower guy, he became a running bit.
Well, and Kingston would never elevate his volume. There's a noise behind me. Let me speak louder so you can hear what I'm saying. He was just the same.
And Mark just kept going,
Didn't
man.
matter what song was blaring in the background.
Didn't care. Mark just kept rocking.
That's right.
He just answered his questions and moved on. But leaf blower guy was fantastic. I wonder if we're going to get him back next year.
I'm interested to see how Mainieri handles it.
Me too.
Okay. And honestly, that should be his, whenever we hear from him next, like, Coach, there's a known leaf blower guy that likes to interrupt press conferences. How do you feel about that?
What's your old opinion on leaf blower guy? This we should ask him at the affiliate luncheon. Coach, what's your opinion on the leaf blower guy at pressers? I think Mainieri, look, this is nothing against Mark. I like Mark Kingston. Personally, always got along in the times I talked to him. He was great. But I felt like Mark Kingston, he did the media stuff because he had to do media stuff.
Sure.
It's part of his gig. Mark was all about coaching baseball. Paul Mainieri, in the few times we have seen him, and he was at the affiliates luncheon as well, I feel like Mainieri enjoys the media back and forth more than Mark Kingston.
He's just got a more outgoing personality.
Yes. Mark was like, okay, I got to do this media thing, so can I get back to coaching the team? Can I get back to watching some film about what we need to do with our pitching staff? I just think Mark was never bad with the media. Mark just was, I think it was just, okay, I got to get him answer the questions. It's part of my job. Let's get them done. Come on, guys, let's roll. Right. And Mainieri seems like he enjoys the media stuff more.
Yes.
So we'll see if he hangs out with leaf blower guy or not. Or does he turn around and go, hey, man, can you turn that off? I'm trying to do some press here. Try to tell a story.
You remember Ed Orgeron? Because they were doing it in, like, was it their athletic facility, like inside the gym? Because they had like a makeshift podium thing. He had to keep going behind, like, hey, I'm trying to do a press conference. And it's like people were playing basketball or lifting weights or something like that. I'm like, well, maybe you should have gone somewhere else, in, more secluded room or something.
They just called me crazy. But, yeah, so we'll see. And Ricky Rain, the head coach at Old Dominion, very interesting presser setup. But you're right. The group of five, it's such a different animal.
Yeah.
And you appreciate what you have in the power leagues. It also shows you where we're going, right?
Oh, 1,000%. I mean, we brought this up the other week when, the group of five is exploring this idea of having their own version of the college football playoff. Like, I'm all for it. Like, decide your own champion, because it, to me, is kind of a farce to pretend that those 60, 70 some odd teams from the Sun Belt and the MAC and the Conference USA have any shot at winning the overall national championship. Yeah, they're going to get a chance. They're going to get a bone thrown their way for being the best G5 conference champion. You get to go get slaughtered by Penn State or Alabama or whoever's home you got to go into in, late December, but you're never going to win the national championship. I'd rather see them play amongst themselves, determine which is the best group of five team, and give out a championship that way.
Well, I feel like they're not going to have a choice. Once this TV deal ends,
yep,
I think that choice will be made for them, to be quite honest. Because, again, if you're a power league, why would you want the power? I mean, basically the Power Four.
Yeah.
Why would you want to let your neighbor from the trailer park into your party?
Yeah, I mean that's money out of your pocket. The money and it's on the low end. Certainly, the $1 billion or so that Group of Five gets from being a part of the playoff as of right now. Well, guess what? The Power Four would much rather have that and spread that amongst themselves.
Oh, sure they would, and that's natural if you think about it. Because at the end of the day, you can say, well, it's not fair. We've got to give everybody a free shot. But like you said, this isn't the NCAA tournament.
No.
No offense. You're not having the percentage of having a VCU-ish kind of run or a George Mason-ish kind of run. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, you're not going to win you're not going to win 3 straight games against the best of the Power Four. I don't care what Boise State team this is. You can go find that one with Jared Zabransky and Ian Johnson and all those guys back from 2007, they're not winning 3 straight games against the best of the best in college football.
No, neither is that Kellen Moore team. None of them are going to do that. They're just, and no one's trying to be mean here, but it's just the truth that the power leagues aren't. They don't want to give you the money that they can keep for themselves.
Of course.
It's pure business. Nothing has been fair in college football forever.
Yeah.
Why do we think it's going to start being fair now? People always say, but it's not fair. Duh. It's college football. It's never been fair. Ever. Now you just get to see more of what's not fair.
Yeah.
That's all. So Ricky Rain, we're going to listen once again here in a little bit to the Old Dominion head coach discussing this upcoming game with South Carolina, also his team. And look, Old Dominion, a quick snapshot. They were, the analytics, what was it? The Athletic had them winning like between 3 and 4 games.
Yeah, they're expected to, which they were a 6-7 team a year ago. They were expected to be on the lower end of FBS this year.
If you look at, I'm looking at Phil Steele right now, and Phil Steele's, as I just minimized it, Phil Steele's predictions for the season in the Sun Belt. Sun Belt, Appalachian State is 1 in the East. Old Dominion 6th in the East. There are 7 teams in the East.
Yes.
So Old Dominion looks like they're going to be a team that, for the most part, by the predictions, and we'll see, again, you don't play the game on paper.
Yep.
But they're looked at as a lower level team in the Sun Belt this year.
Sure.
So we'll see where that goes. We'll have some Ricky Rain come up here in just a couple minutes. And Old Dominion, they do play fast.
Mm-hmm.
They try to run that Tennessee type of offense. Defensively, they got our boy, the tackling machine,
Jason
Henderson. But offensively, their offensive line gave up, I think, 62 sacks last year. It was horrendous. We think about the complaints about South Carolina's offensive line. Old Dominion gave up a lot more sacks than South Carolina.
They actually had the worst offensive line in college football.
Yeah, and they've tried to bring in some pieces to fix it, but we'll see how that works. But the offensive line was a huge issue, and quarterback play inconsistent. Defensively, they've got a high-level guy, obviously, in Henderson. But I'll say this, and this is also, we can swing it back to South Carolina. Georgia Tech last year was awful in stopping the run.
Mm-hmm.
Awful. And look what they did Saturday. Florida State under 100 yards on the ground. In this transfer portal world we live in, things change so much from year to year.
Yep.
Even more than they used to. Now, that I'm not just saying that about Old Dominion. I'm saying even South Carolina, with all the additions through the portal, you just don't know.
Sure.
You just don't. Like Florida State has become transfer portal U in a lot of ways. It worked really well for them for a couple years, right?
Right.
Okay, we'll see if it works well for them again this year. I still think the foundation of a football team is in your high school recruiting and development of those players.
Sure.
I just really do.
Sure.
I think the transfer portal is great to help, patch some weaknesses you have or add depth to you. Well, but at the end of the day, you got to be built through the high school recruiting.
That is what the intended purpose of the transfer portal was initially, to fill in the gaps. All right, you've got your recruiting class in. Here's the guys that have left, whatever it may be. Fill in the spots you need to be filled in, to complete your roster or give you the depth that you need. This whole approach of just going out there and flipping your team every single offseason, it's not sustainable.
No, and even in basketball, we talk about Eric Musselman being one of the best college basketball coaches in America at Arkansas. He was working the portal, and it was going really well till last year.
Right.
He brought his big portal mix in, and he put it in the pot, stirred it up, and it made everybody sick. Everybody got food poisoning.
It was pretty rank.
Yes, it was. It was bad. It was like somebody stuck Limburger cheese in your mouth.
Yuck.
Yes. So, again, in this world we live in, there's a lot of turnover, and you could all of a sudden come out of nowhere and be a lot better than people think you can be. But how sustainable is that if you're trying to do it every year through the portal is the point. And Old Dominion, just sitting here right now, and we'll go over it. We're going to play Coach Rain here in a minute. To that point, we had, I guess, who was our guy? Oh, help me, covered Old Dominion for the Virginia Pilot.
I can't remember now.
I can't think of his name either. We'll have him back on, by the way, maybe later this week. But, we heard there was a quarterback battle between Grant Wilson, the incumbent, Cotton Joseph, and, there's another quarterback.
Kid from Boston College.
Yeah, the kid was a kid Moorhead.
Yep.
But so that's the So that we don't even know if Grant Wilson is going to be the starter.
Yeah, listening to Rain's presser yesterday, and he didn't give a definitive answer on it. It seemed like it's going to be Grant Wilson. Now, could they play multiple quarterbacks? Certainly. I'm sure South Carolina's doing what they can to prepare for multiple guys, but it sounds like Grant Wilson's going to be the starter, at least initially, and depending on how things go, maybe they try and trot somebody else out there too.
All right, so we'll listen to Coach Randy Rain from Old Dominion coming up next. Obviously, South Carolina hosting the Monarchs. We get started 11 a.m. at the party lot at Sound and Images right there on Bluff across from Williams-Brice. We get it going 11 a.m. with Gamecocks Game Day with Tyler and myself. 1 o'clock, the network takes over. 4 o'clock kickoff. Gamecocks and Monarchs 2024 gets rolling this Saturday here on the game in Columbia and in Myrtle Beach. We'll come back, hear what Randy Rain has to say about his football team at Old Dominion. That's next. Football in the 1 o'clock hour, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors, right here on the game.
107.5 The Game.
In Columbia.
100.5 The Game.
In Florence.
100.3 The Game.
In Myrtle Beach. The Game Network.
Sibs and Sounds, Saturday, September 28th at the Carolina Haven.
It's the only craft beer, wine, and spirits tasting event that is indoors under the cool AC.
Over 40 brands of local, regional, and national craft beers, wine, seltzers.
Live music by Ken and Drew of Sister Hazel, Dazer, and the Donovan Twins.
Get your early bird unlimited tasting wristbands starting at just $35 at sibsandsoundscola.com. sibsandsoundscola.com.
107.5 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Take up to $20,000 off new Silverados.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
Are you a Gamecock fan that's looking for flexibility to attend the games you want without committing to season tickets? If so, the Gamecock Go Pass is for you. For only $20 a month, your Gamecock Go Pass subscription provides you with access to all non-conference football games, most men's and women's basketball and baseball games, and all softball, soccer, and volleyball games. Plus, you have the ability to add on tickets for conference football games and premier basketball and baseball games for an additional cost. To learn more and sign up today, visit thegamecockclub.com/go.
There's never been a more affordable way to get on the water than during the inventory clearance sale at Mid-Carolina Marine. Get the boat of your dreams and cruise away with unbeatable savings on center consoles, bay boats, pontoons, deck boats, and more. Special rock bottom pricing on remaining Stingray boats and Berkshire pontoons. Create lifelong memories with these affordable boats, perfectly designed for family fun and excitement. Make this the year you finally get on the water. 718 Sunset Boulevard in West Columbia, or visit midcarolinamarine.com.
From lazy days and spontaneous adventures to revving up and reconnecting, you can almost feel the excitement building, the road ahead, and a whole new season of possibilities. It's back to cool time right now at Love Chevy with amazing savings on a lot chock full of brand new Tahoes, Suburbans, and the totally redesigned Chevy Traverse. A bolder exterior design, turbocharged V6, best-in-class cargo area, plenty of space for the team and the tailgate. Speaking of football, every day is game day at Love Chevy, where it's all about the fundamentals, honesty, integrity, and straight talk. No ridiculous add-on stickers like the other guys. And who could forget about Love Chevy's $1,000 low price guarantee? Get back to cool today at South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer, I-26 at Harbison, and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
That's the power of love. Love Chevy.
Harlem's Closet is the sweet deal of the week. Get a $100 gift certificate for just $50. Visit 1075thegame.com beginning this Friday at 9 a.m. to get your $100 gift certificate to Harlem's Closet for just $50.
Nothing slows down a job like not having the right equipment. Maybe your favorite zero turn or push mower is getting repaired right now. Or maybe you want to take advantage of some dry weather to finally aerate or dethatch your lawn. Or maybe you just want a great excuse to mow with our super cool Gravely EV. Either way, come to Cato's, where we have a ton of new rental equipment available for daily, weekly, and monthly rentals. Cato's Power Equipment is here to bring you solutions to keep your yard or your customer's yard looking their best. Give us a call at 803-254-3711.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Liner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line, 803-404-6100.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence. The Halftime Show, sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina, on your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence. And the 107.5 The Game app.
We are cooking football in the 1 o'clock hour, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors here on The Game. Terry Ford, Tyler Head. All right, our boy Coach Rain at Old Dominion talking to the media. Ricky Rain first. We'll start with this, Tyler, on playing South Carolina.
I don't care who you're playing. You're just excited to play somebody who's not your own colored, who doesn't, you haven't been going against every day, who doesn't know everything you're going to do before you do it. And you're just ready to play somebody else. And I think it's one of the things that makes college football great is there is no scrimmages, right? We are literally the only sport in the world that doesn't have that. And I think that's kind of cool.
Okay, that's the exact opposite of Shane Beamer, who hates it.
I was going to say, I think every other coach says they'd rather play a scrimmage game, but I guess if you're a team that would probably be getting scheduled as the scrimmage game, maybe that doesn't benefit you as much.
It is interesting to hear someone from, again, the Sun Belt say, I like the fact we don't play anybody else. I'll say this. I would rather scrimmage another team. If I was a head coach in college football, I'd want to have some type of, like the NFL does with these organized team scrimmages. I would like to have those without the constant fights.
Yeah.
But I would like to have that at the very least. Give me that.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Just so I can go up against someone different than my own guys. But you know what? It was just interesting. That was the first thing he thought of. I get you can go, we're just happy to play somebody else. But then he just he deep dove into that thing, didn't he?
Yeah.
And you would, so anyway. All right, here is Ricky Rain talking about the atmosphere. Let's get cut 11, Tyler. The atmosphere at Willie B.
No, I haven't really talked to him yet. I will. I think this is one of the great atmospheres in college football. Having coached there twice, I think it's a really special atmosphere. I think these fans are incredible in South Carolina. So I'm excited to be there. I've only been there for night games, so maybe 3 o'clock isn't as impressive, but something tells me it will be.
What were your 2 games you were there for?
Vanderbilt. We were there twice. We had the pleasure of playing Clowney and Lattimore and
Stephon
Gilmore and Garcia.
Yep.
All those. They weren't terrible.
How'd you guys do?
We lost both games. We got smacked around pretty good the first time when we were there. And we lost a close one at home, and then we lost even a closer one at their place the last time. So they were really good. They were really good.
So yeah, there's Coach Rain talking about his times coming to Williams-Brice, and see, to me, look, we know we know what's up when you roll into Williams-Brice.
Sure.
Now, if you're Old Dominion, has he been practicing with more crowd noise? It's a day game. The night game's a different animal, obviously.
Well, he should also probably know that it's a 4:15 kick, not a 3 o'clock kick.
Yeah.
Or else they're going to be out there with, Carolina's kickers warming up an hour before the game.
You know what? Don't tell anybody. Shh. But yeah, so, do you pump a lot of crowd noise in to get ready for an environment that can get loud and can, get pumped? Yeah, probably most coaches do that, right?
Right.
But do you also say, the best thing about that stadium is we make it quiet?
Sure.
So it's always been an interesting balance how coaches handle those kind of environments, especially coming from like that group of 5 into a power conference stadium where, look, how many people do you think they play in front of at Old Dominion?
Parents and friends.
Maybe a couple like that, right? Girlfriends.
The janitor.
Yeah, a couple people who walk over. Oh, wow, it's a football game. I've never seen one of those. You want to go over?
Yeah.
Sure. So you're walking into a place that, it's not going to be packed. Well, no, it's a home opener. So in theory, it'll be sold out or close to. Now, who is actually there? The butts in the seats is obviously different than tickets sold.
Sure.
But I'm safe to say it'll be more people than Old Dominion's used to playing in front of.
Yeah, and look, this is a program that's been to places like Blacksburg. They're no stranger to going on the road to hostile environments. And like you said, for them, it's about quieting the crowd. Because if this is a game where it's tied at halftime and they come out and take the lead in the first drive of the second half, the place is going to get real quiet.
I wonder how many guys, because they went to Blacksburg a couple years ago and scared the bejesus out of Virginia Tech, if I remember correctly.
Let's see. They went to Virginia back in 22. That was a 2-point loss.
Yeah, but nobody cares about football at Virginia.
They beat Virginia Tech at home.
That's it.
That
They did
season,
they beat Virginia
and they
Tech
went
at
on the
home.
road last year, but that was a pretty comfortable win for Virginia
so
Tech
they
in
did
that
beat
one.
them. That's right.
But
I knew it was a close game.
They've beaten Virginia Tech twice. Both times have been at home. 1 in 18 and 1 in 22. And it's one of those weird scheduling things. Why is Virginia Tech
going to
Old Dominion? It's like, why is Missouri going to UMass this year?
Yeah, it's almost like pay them not to go.
Exactly.
That's what you do. So they have played in big venues. I mean, look, playing at Virginia Tech is a thing. When they fire up that Enter Sandman,
sure,
it is pretty cool. Williams-Brice also gets very loud. And Virginia Tech, I forget what's the capacity. I don't think it's as big as Williams-Brice.
No, it's a little bit smaller.
It's a really nice atmosphere, though. I've been to a game there. It's really cool.
Yeah.
I went back when Shane's dad was at the height of his powers. That was a very cool atmosphere.
Sure.
I had a buddy of mine working out there. He was like, you want to come to a game? Sure, why not? Okay. But with the players he has now, how many of them did not play in Blacksburg, did not be part of that kind of thing? So you got to see how you're going to react by playing well early. That's what we said. Remember in the first riff of the show, we said, stomp on them quickly. Get this thing over with. So you can, kind of enjoy yourself. Enjoy your Saturday afternoon. Your crowd can enjoy it.
Yep.
Blah, blah, blah. Last thing you want is a repeat of Jacksonville State.
Right.
So here's Coach Rain also talking about his quarterback situation. Grant Wilson, he had to fight for the gig to hold on to the job. Let's get cut 12. Grant Wilson's progress right now during summer camp.
I see him having a lot more conviction when he throws the ball. I see him having a lot more leadership when he's talking to the guys and running routes and things like that. I think he's moving better in the pocket, more efficiently. So I think that's been one of the other big ones.
Old Dominion, again, they're running the Tennessee-type offenses. They obviously don't have Tennessee-type players. Now, they brought in some folks from the transfer portal, obviously. And we'll see how it all shakes itself out. It was weird how they got to a bowl game last year, Tyler. They struggled and scuffled and then kicked it into gear late. Got themselves into a bowl game. Didn't they blow a big lead in the bowl game, if my memory serves me?
They were up 28-0 on Western Kentucky and ended up losing that game 38-35 in overtime. Right. But yeah, they definitely kicked it into gear the last half of the season. They had to win their last 2 games, so they were kind of in a similar spot to Carolina going the last couple weeks of the year because they were 4-6 and had to win against Georgia Southern, Georgia State to get to bowl eligibility, and they escaped both those games by a total of 4 points between them to get to the bowl game.
Yep, so they won. They beat Georgia Southern by 3, Georgia State by 1, and that got them in. And then I knew they blew a big lead to some, I couldn't remember. So they blew a big lead to Western Kentucky. Looking at this now, they did go to Virginia Tech last year, a very tough place to win, and a great atmosphere. That trip to Southern Miss. I've been to Southern Miss games too.
Mm-hmm.
They were good, though, back then, and they had a pretty good crowd, but they haven't been good in a long time. So, again, this is a program that has gone to some bowl games under Rain. I think 21, they also went to a bowl game, finishing 6-7. In between was a 3-9 season. So they've been a team that has kind of teetered around middle of the pack-ish, so to speak. This year, no expectation, really hardly an expectation at all.
Right.
And let's get this one last call on our boy Jason Henderson, the linebacker, who's a tackling machine. Here's Coach Rain on his, a lot of people think could be one of the better linebackers in the country.
He's watched a lot more film. You know, I think he's really taking his mental game to a new level, which I think is going to really help him. But, you know, he's running around. He's ready to go. He's tackled people to the ground. And so we're excited to have him back, and those teammates are excited to have him back.
I think it's fantastic. He's tackling people to the ground.
I would hope so as a linebacker.
It's kind of your job. It's okay. All right, so, again, South Carolina is almost a 3-touchdown favorite. Old Dominion's projected to be a 3 or 4 win football team this year. They're kind of rebooting it after getting to a bowl game last year. So, again, on paper, you should have a nice day at the office.
Yes.
Problem is, you actually play this game with people. Not paper. Remember the paper when you made paper football when you were a kid?
Totally.
I love paper football. That was fun.
Yeah.
You kick it and you hit somebody in the back of the head by accident in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how you end up in detention.
Yeah, paper football was fun. All right, so anyway, that's Old Dominion in a nutshell. We'll obviously talk more about them during the week. What South Carolina's got to do to make this an easy day, what Old Dominion needs to do to make it a difficult day. And we'll get our guy back from the Virginian Pilot. You got to remember his name, though. Bell? Was Bell his last name?
I'll work on it.
Yeah, work on that. Got to remember. All right, halftime show. It's football in the 1 o'clock hour. We'll come back. A nice day for Spencer Rattler. We'll get to that and a couple more NFL notes as we continue on. Sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors is football in the 1 o'clock hour. We've got football tickets coming up between now and 3 o'clock for the opener as well. So get ready for that here in just a little bit. Sponsored by Carolina Honda Powerhouse. All right, halftime show. Terry Ford, Tyler Head till 3 on the game.
The Game Network in Columbia.
107.5 The Game.
In Florence.
100.5 The Game.
In Myrtle Beach.
100.3 The Game.
Download the 107.5 The Game app and listen anywhere. The beach. The gym. And yes, even there. Go to iTunes or Google Play and snag the 107.5 The Game app.
Let's go inside the Nest.
My name is Jan, and I've had the privilege of working with the most incredible team at the Nest in Columbia. They are professional, kind, and incredibly knowledgeable. The options and selections that they have at the Nest are amazing. From Mandy in the lighting department to Graham in the appliance department. Nikki helped with tubs, sinks, faucets. They are a professional team and will walk you through your remodel or new home from start to finish.
Come see for yourself at the Nest, 1331 Gadsden Street in the Vista.
It's welcome back season at Village Idiot Pizza. Welcome back students. Welcome back football. And welcome back to creating shared experiences over pizza with all your friends. We at the Village Idiot are excited to cheer on all your favorite teams, especially our very own Gamecocks. Join us on Divine Street in 5 Points or Olympia at the Mills to watch all the big games. Or grab your tailgate munchies. Visit us at villageidiotpizza.com to find out what's happening. Go Gamecocks and go Tigers. Benedict Tigers. What'd you think I meant?
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Right now at Wendy's, you can get a small Frosty for $1. And literally everyone is going. The car behind you, going to get a $1 Frosty. The car ahead of you, already had one, going for second. The person who cut you off earlier, you guessed it, $1 Frosty. Maybe it's all a sign for you to go get one. Just don't cut anyone off. No one likes that person. The iconic Frosty for $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, California, and via third-party delivery.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevy. It's back to cool season with big-time savings on Tahoe Suburbans and the all-new Chevy Traverse. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive. Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Start making your plans to catch a game at Williams-Brice Stadium this fall. Single game tickets for the 2024 Gamecock football season are on sale now. For more information, visit GamecocksOnline.com/2024. Whatever the game, whoever you're with, just catch a game.
Hey guys, it's Jay Phillips for AAA Heating and Air. You know, for many years, AAA has been your year-round ally against changing weather across the Midlands, whether it's the hot summers or those cool winters. Let their expert team make sure that your home is always an oasis of comfort. And now, Roy and Dana Finley have a spectacular offer to make it even better for you and your family for years to come. How about 12 months, no payments or interest in 2024, plus guaranteed financing, a $1,500 system buyback rebate, and their 15-year parts and labor guarantee that speaks volumes of the trust in their service and in their products. AAA has done things at my house that make my family nice and comfortable all year long. They can do it for you, too. Get a free quote today. Call AAAtoday.com. That's call AAAtoday.com or give them a shout at 803-677-1500. Tell them Jay Phillips sent you to AAA Heating and Air.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Want to get lucky? Well, it's your lucky day, Columbia, because Lucky's Pine Straw has come to the Midlands, and we're here to help you get your home ready for summer. Lucky's offers locally farmed longleaf pine straw and mulch. To pick up, just stop by our store at 3119 Sunset Boulevard in West Columbia, or give us a call at 803-360-4850 to schedule your free local delivery or full service installation. Let us help you be the luckiest home on the block with a beautiful yard from Lucky's. That's Luckies, Lucky's Pine Straw.
What you're talking about.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
On the Game Network.
What we're talking about is football in the 1 o'clock hour, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors here on the Game. Spencer Rattler got some good moments in Saints camp.
It's gone well, okay. Gone well so far.
He's done all right. And he kind of wrapped up. He did all right in his first NFL training camp with his play.
These are prime opportunities. That's Jacobson, tight end, setting up on the far side. Pocket's good for Rattler. Corner of the end zone. Touchdown. Held on that time. St. Brown with the score. And a perfect throw in the corner.
Fantastic ball. It's a little bit of a switch route from a slot receiver. And Rattler puts it right on it. So great route by St. Brown. Great ball by Rattler.
Final preseason game for Spencer. 7 of 13, 105 yards, 8 yards an attempt, did throw a touchdown, no picks, was not sacked, quarterback rating of 106. Now, of course, he's been battling Jake Haener for the QB2 spot.
Mm-hmm.
Haener went 8 of 17, 87 yards, only 5 yards an attempt, no TDs, no picks, quarterback rating 62.6, and was sacked one time. So, I mean, we'll see how this thing shakes out and who is going to be the backup in New Orleans. But hey, the best thing that could happen to Spencer Rattler was go in a situation where he doesn't have to be the starting quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
No one's going to try to put him in a spot he's not ready for yet. You know, Derek Carr is a serviceable veteran quarterback. He's not great. He's not awful. He's all right. And he will quarterback the New Orleans Saints this year, barring injury.
Yep.
And then after this year, you move on from Carr, most likely. You might move on from Dennis Allen, too. Never understood how he got the job. No, I know how he got the job because he was hanging around.
Sure.
Because they wanted to keep everything. They wanted to keep continuity when Sean Payton left.
Yeah. You, David, you're the head coach. My name's Dennis. Whatever, Dean.
Doesn't matter. They're Donnie. Weren't you hanging around with Peyton? Didn't I see you guys having lunch?
Yeah. They wear the same type of visor.
You're the head coach.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
He is the most forgettable NFL head coach.
Yeah, he shouldn't be a head coach this time. He wasn't very good the first time. I think we always give a guy at least a little bit of a pass when he's been the head coach of that dumpster fire called the Raiders.
Sure.
We go, well, maybe it's just the Raiders. No.
Yeah.
Dennis Allen is proven in New Orleans he's
Right.
That's that's really New Orleans at this point since Sean Payton left. The Saints are not terrible, not good. They're in the worst place you can be in professional sports. In the middle.
In purgatory.
Yeah, they're in the middle. They're in professional sports purgatory. They're in the middle.
Yep.
Because when you're in the middle, you put this false sense of hope in your head. Because look, I've lived this over the years of doing this job. And I'll grab the Saints real quick. And this will circle back to Spencer in a second. All right, let's take the Saints and let's play this game last year with the Saints in 2023.
Okay.
You're a middle of the road football team, correct? You finished 9-8.
Yep.
Oh, but only lost to the Rams 30-22. If we'd have made this play and that play and that play and this play, we win that game. Oh, how many one-score games we lost that 33-28 game? Detroit went to the NFC Championship game. That's how good we could be. Also, don't forget that 2013 loss. Houston's in the playoffs, too. And that game was at Houston. If we'd have done this, and that, we'd have won those two games. So now all of a sudden, we're an 11-win team. And we beat two playoff teams. That's what you do when you're in the middle of the pack.
Yeah. Well, at least when you're at the very bottom, it's like, okay, let's clean it out. We're starting over. Mm-hmm. It's going to take a couple years, but we'll get there. Yep. And again, when you're in this weird middle ground, you're drafting in the middle of the draft. You don't have super elite guys at any position. Like, you don't see where that light at the end of the tunnel is necessarily.
Yeah, and it's a lot of delusion. You're delusional because, again, you think your team is better than they really are because that's what you do as a fan, right? And that's what the Saints, I think, have done as an organization.
Yep.
They refuse to just say, screw it, let's implode this thing and rebuild it from the studs. They keep bringing it back. They keep kicking the salary cap can down the road, and they think that because they're in a very mediocre division that they've got a shot to get back in the dance, and because they're just in, right, anything can happen.
Yep.
It's a flawed logic they have. And if they were in, let's just use the AFC North, arguably the best division of football.
Yeah.
They would be awful.
Oh.
In the AFC North.
Totally.
They'd be a 4-win team. Then they would go like this. Okay, we suck. Let's blow it up.
Sure.
But because they're in a mediocre division, all we got to do is add this, this, and this, and we can be. No, you can't. Stop it. But why we're saying that is Dennis Allen, there's a good chance he gets fired at the end of the year.
Sure.
Then you bring in a new coaching staff, new philosophies, probably have the same front office, though. And Rattler was drafted by this front office because, our boy Mickey's going nowhere. Loomis is in. So Spencer gets a city year. Carr will probably be gone. Might be a new head coach. And then Spencer would have an opportunity to possibly compete for that gig. Not a bad spot to go to if you're disappointed during the draft, which Rattler was. This wasn't a bad consolation prize to land in a spot like this where there could be opportunities, what I'm saying.
No, and I like whenever you have the opportunity as a young guy, rookie or whatever, to sit behind a veteran, learn for maybe a year, maybe a couple of years, get ingrained with it, and then when you hand the reins over to them, it's not deer in the headlights. And again, there are some teams that get put in positions like the Panthers a season ago where you didn't really have a choice. Like Bryce Young's your number one pick. Bryce Young's going to be the guy in game number one. And obviously he's still working on figuring out the whole NFL thing up to this point. But yeah, if you can let a guy sit, obviously the prime example of that is Favre and Rodgers. Now Jordan Love looks to be kind of in the same way as well. Let them sit. Let them learn under the guy for a couple years. Then when it's time to turn over to them, they're ready to go and nothing's going to phase them.
It's always situation, right? I mean, we always say this. Put Patrick Mahomes in Carolina.
Yeah.
Hell, flip C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young last year.
Sure.
One organization did everything they could to help C.J. Stroud. The other did nothing to help Bryce Young.
Right.
And so that's the point. It's not just the player, it's the situation you put them in. And, Rattler is in a nice situation because he can just sit back and chill. And there's no expectation on you when you're a third-day quarterback draft pick.
Right.
So that plays to your advantage in a screwy way. So Spencer, for the disappointment of draft day, this might end up not being a bad situation. Look, does Spencer Rattler have an NFL arm? Yes. Can he be a franchise quarterback in the NFL? Yeah, it could be. Is he going to be? I got zero clue. I can't tell you. Are there some things he's got to do better? Oh, sure. I mean, we know why. Well, the dumbest reason he fell in the 5th round is that stupid documentary from when he was like 12 years old. But the other thing was some things about what he does when he's got pressure.
Sure.
You know, some of the things that he can do better.
Well,
in the mechanics of playing the position, but he's got an NFL arm.
I can tell you
There's
one
no
thing.
doubt.
If Derek Carr gets off to a rough start this year, Spencer Rattler is going to feel what Caleb Williams felt at Oklahoma when people started clamoring for him to start over Spencer Rattler.
Right.
He's going to be like, oh, so that's what this feels like.
That's a great point. Remember Caleb Williams last year during the silly draft season was interviewed and said he thought he should have been starting from the beginning?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. And he was mad that Rattler won the job. And, I mean, outside of what that first half against Texas, Rattler looked bad in that game. But, I mean, in most cases, he wouldn't have lost his job.
Yeah.
But Caleb Williams, another highly touted guy, they gave him a shot and never looked back.
Let's be fair. If the guy playing behind Spencer Rattler wasn't a 5-star, high-level quarterback recruit,
sure,
Rattler would have kept the job.
Sure.
So, Spencer Rattler has shown some good, really nice moments in Saints camp. Let's grab one more piece of sound here. NFL stuff. Do you have it here? Have I lost it? We got to get this before we go to break. The Jameis Winston pregame hype speech.
Oh, of course.
This is good. Jameis Winston pumping up the Browns before a preseason game.
Hey, man, it ain't just about having fun, man. Yes, sir. Remember the time you played your best football game of your life. Yes, sir. Remember the time after that victory you went to CC Pizza and celebrated with the boys. Yeah. For real. Feel it in your heart, man. It's a long way back to Cleveland. Yeah. Let's not leave it without a victory. Yeah. All right? Yeah. So put everything you got on the line today. Let's have a game of memory, man. All right? I remember. Let's go. Family number 3. 1, 2, 3, go.
Listen, the CC's Pizza thing, I get it.
How good was that?
But, like...
That was so funny, like, CC's Pizza.
I think we can all relate. Now, it didn't necessarily have to be CC's Pizza, but there was always that place that your team or your parents or wherever went after a good game. You know what I mean?
After
like,
you won.
Like, he's actually... He should be a motivational speaker.
Oh, honestly,
I really think so.
And we make fun of the eating the victory, eating the W, because it was kind of weird. But... Jameis, if Jameis could be as good a quarterback as he is the hype guy in a pregame speech, might have a starting gig somewhere.
Jameis might give Ray Lewis a run for his money on those pregame speeches.
Yeah, Jameis has got it going on.
Is it a lot of nonsense? Sure. But can it fire you up? Absolutely.
Well, a lot of those things are nonsense, not to be mean. If you listen to them like we do, you listen to them and go, wow, how much sense did that make? But it works.
Right.
All right, Firehouse Subtext the hour next, 803-404-6100. Football, 1 o'clock hour on the halftime show.
From the Midlands to the PD to the beach.
The Game Network.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. A true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
This is Andrew Bogish with a Sports Minute. It's my favorite time of year when FBS members pay to lose to lesser opponents. These bye games are supposed to be pseudo preseason games, and New Mexico did have a 31-14 fourth quarter lead on FCS Montana State, but then the Bobcats rallied for a 35-31 upset while taking home a $360,000 check. I'm Andrew Bogish.
Save on O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner. Get 2 cans of O'Reilly Brake Parts Cleaner for just $8. Valid in-store only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Our Labor Day savings start now at Lowe's. Right now, buy one, get one free on Valspar Reserve or HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Infinity or Showcase Interior Paint via Lowe's gift card rebate. Whether you're painting one accent wall or want to freshen up a whole room, we've got you covered. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details. Valid through 9/4.
Is your vehicle stopping like it should? Does it squeal or grind when you brake? Don't miss out on summer brake deals at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey guys, it's Preston Thorne for your broker, my broker, Benji Getzi at Buford Lending. Buford Lending is a true mortgage broker offering the widest variety of government mortgage programs and the best mortgage experience for clients through its state-of-the-art technology and record low interest rates. Their goal is to make your next mortgage experience at closing easier, cheaper, faster, and friendlier. Whatever you do, don't wait. Shop and lock your rate today with Buford Lending. Don't go to Wall Street. The rates are better on Bay Street. Online at Buford.mortgage.
Whether you're tinkering in your garage or tackling big projects, if you know the value of working with your hands, you know Harbor Freight. And you can be confident knowing that at Harbor Freight, you can get quality tools at prices that work just as hard as you do. Because the only thing more satisfying than a job well done is a job well done, well under budget. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
O'Reilly.
You've got questions? O'Reilly Auto Parts has answers. Need a pro you can trust? We've got that too. No matter what you need, our professional parts people have the training and expertise to help you do things right. Deep automotive knowledge. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Do you want to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Make It Rain Irrigation and Landscapes. Specializing in all aspects of landscape construction, enhancements, and outdoor entertainment, they offer a wide range of services to make your outdoor dreams a reality. From outdoor lighting for homes and businesses to hardscape design and build, including outdoor kitchens, water features, stonework, and more. No rain, no pain. Call Make It Rain Irrigation and Landscapes today at 803-673-6337 or online at makeitrain803sc.com.
The Halftime Show, sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina.
It's time for Text of the Hour on the Firehouse Subs text line on the Halftime Show.
On your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence. And the 107.5 The Game app.
Time for our Firehouse Subtext, the hour, 803-404-6100. What do you got there, Tyler?
Chris weighs in and says, without question, South Carolina produces an electric atmosphere and environment. That atmosphere doesn't run block or create holes to run through. Environment does not pass block, throw, or catch footballs, and the atmosphere doesn't tackle, nor does playing in the SEC.
No, I think like we talked about the Jacksonville State game. I mean, Jacksonville State comes in, you let them hang around. All of a sudden, you got a football game on your hands, and your environment doesn't matter.
Sure.
Your atmosphere doesn't matter. I mean, but it is a thing. If you can get up early, then you have a crowd in a frenzy. You have your sideline in a frenzy. And then, not to say the atmosphere wins and loses you games, but the atmosphere now is in addition to what you're doing on the field, which makes things even more difficult. But no, if atmosphere mattered, I mean, look, there are people who say, like, for an example, I've talked to guys who have played in Tuscaloosa.
Mm-hmm.
Not the most intimidating crowd in the world. You know what beat you in Tuscaloosa?
The team on the field?
Yes. So if atmosphere mattered, they probably wouldn't have the record they have at Bama.
Right.
So, no, I mean, we're not sitting here saying that the atmosphere is going to beat you. We're saying if you come into a place and it's loud and it's crazy and all of a sudden the home team gets up on you early, that only helps you.
Right. Yeah, no, you got to crush their spirit right off the jump.
Yeah, and that way you can enjoy your nice leisurely Saturday of tailgating, fun, and frolic with a nice victory.
Yes.
Over Old Dominion. And then you move forward, hopefully feeling really good, and then you park the bus at Lexington, Kentucky. See where it goes.
Yes.
Also, college football, and appreciate the text, by the way, 803-404-6100, because you are correct. Very interesting, because I was listening, driving back south, I was listening to the college football channel, or the college sports channel on Sirius XM. And they re-rack like a Friday show or something on the weekend.
Yep.
And so it's a show going into the weekend. And it was interesting because I heard a lot of SMU love. Lots of SMU love. And, how, they could be a dark horse in the ACC. They got a ton of talent. Coach Leslie's done a great job taking over for Coach Dykes. All these other things. And then SMU is like a 100-point favorite over Nevada?
Yeah, pretty
that game was in Reno, which is a little weird.
Yep.
But Nevada's terrible. Nevada's awful. SMU should roll Nevada. They should cover the number easy. Blah, 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 blah. What happened on Saturday?
They won, but 5 point, 29-24. They got a little safety there in the end.
And had to come back.
Yeah.
So, SMU, you escaped. And is Nevada going to be better maybe than they were last year? Sure, new head coach. The dude Choate, who has taken over, has been a head coach before. He's DC at Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe Nevada will be better now. And maybe they weren't. Maybe they shouldn't have been a 20-some point dog.
Sure.
Or maybe just SMU isn't going to be as good as you think they're going to be. We'll see. But it was just very interesting listening to the Friday re-rack show about how SMU this, SMU that, SMU that, SMU this, and then they barely survived against a Nevada team everybody thinks is going to be terrible.
I will say this, that when you look at where they came from, which is the American Athletic Conference, had a good year last year.
Mm-hmm.
When you remove like Florida State, Clemson, NC State, like the top 2 or 3 from the ACC, the rest of the ACC isn't all that much different than what they've been playing the past couple years. So it's not this like insanely huge step up in competition. Yes, they do have to play some of those juggernauts at some point, but the meat of ACC, like the middle to lower end, that's about comparable to what they've played.
I feel like if you look at, now again, Florida, we watched Florida State and went, ooh.
Yeah.
And this is the thing about week 1, why you can't overreact.
Sure.
Because, Florida State might get it together and play for the ACC championship. SMU might look a lot better and maybe be that dark horse people think.
Yep.
But you just don't know. But SMU didn't look like the machine that everyone thought they were going to be this week.
Right.
Now, SMU to their credit, has a lot of talent. They really do. And what Lashley's done there is very impressive. And the fact they're paying their way for the most part in the ACC. But again, in week 1, they got some work to do after that performance in Reno.
For sure.
But yeah, the ACC is very top heavy, and we'll find out a little bit about Clemson when they play Georgia. We'll see what the rest of the league is like. Miami, everybody loves Miami too.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. They've got talent. This is year 3 for Mario Cristobal. It's time for all that recruiting and talent and transfer portal and NIL and all that mess to start winning games, right?
That's right.
So we'll see if those 3 teams are as good as everybody thinks. Let's say they're not. The ACC could get really interesting. Because there's a level 2 in the ACC, right? NC State's a team we never talk about. Every year they win 8 games.
Yep.
So we'll see. But yeah, SMU has talent. They just decided they didn't want to show it off too much in Reno on Saturday. I will get back in here. What's trending at 2, sponsored by Gamecock Traditions and Traditions Fine Jewelry. Terry Ford, Tyler Head here on The Game.
.1075 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Take up to $20,000 off new Silverados.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
For appliances with Reliances, that's Jeffers McGill.
Come see the entire line of GE appliances at 1421 Atlas Road. Jeffers McGill offers the best customer service and lowest price on every GE make and model,
including GE Profile, Monogram, and Cafe brands. Jeffers McGill and GE, your home team.
For appliances with Reliances, that's Jeffers McGill.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevy, where back to cool means award-winning savings. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive. Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like rowing upstream. But it's a river, a whitewater river, and the only paddles you have are pool noodles. Then when a new to-do pops up, you're like, nope, I'm already rowing upstream with these pool noodle paddles. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to get personalized discounts with a commercial auto insurance quote online, so your to-do list is smooth sailing. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 7 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverages and discounts not available in all states and subject to policy terms and underwriting.
Point! Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
Oh, I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down. Ace! You're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at metamucil.com.
Living with persistent pain and facing joint replacement? You want the best surgeon and technology available. You'll find both at Midlands Orthopedics and Neurosurgery. Using the most advanced technology, including robotics, our experienced orthopedic surgeons, nurses, and technicians perform hip, knee, shoulder, wrist, and elbow replacement, as well as hip resurfacing with no hospital stay, excellent outcomes, and lower costs to you. Midlands Orthopedics and Neurosurgery.
Call Zero Rest Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning today and mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game to get a free hallway cleaned with 3 rooms of carpet for only $129. Book online at ZeroRestColumbia.com.
Have a passion for serving children and families? Apply to become a child welfare case manager at dss.sc.gov. This message is sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Social Services. Harlan's Closet is your ultimate destination for buying, selling, and trading the latest and most sought-after sneakers. Harlan's Closet specializes in exclusive streetwear and accessories, offering a curated selection that caters to sneaker enthusiasts and fashion-forward individuals alike. Whether you're hunting for the newest drops, rare finds, or stylish apparel, Harlan's Closet has you covered. Harlan's Closet also specializes in exclusive products and limited sneakers and streetwear. Harlan's Closet strives to be your #1 stop for fashion, shoes, and retro classics. Step into Harlan's Closet's world at 514 Gervais Street in downtown Columbia and discover a unique shopping experience that combines urban culture with premium quality. Harlan's Closet is the sweet deal of the week. Get a $100 gift certificate for just $50. Visit 1075thegame.com beginning this Friday at 9 a.m. to get your $100 gift certificate to Harlan's Closet for just $50.
WNKT FM Eastover, Columbia.
Congrats to the Gamecocks women on another national championship.
A Cumulus media station.
What's trending at 2?
Sponsored by Traditions Fine Jewelry and Gamecock Traditions.
2 locations in Lexington and Sandhills. On the Halftime Show, your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
Halftime show, Terry Ford, Tyler Head, what's trending at 2, sponsored by Gamecock Traditions and Traditions Fine Jewelry. We do have breaking news from the NFL. We're going to go to our correspondent in Dallas, Tyler Head, here in a minute. But real quick stat, Old Dominion, South Carolina for this upcoming Saturday. Keep this in mind. Old Dominion brings back 2 starters on the offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Dubose-Bourne, who last year played as a freshman, now a sophomore. Santana Saunders, who is now a senior. Those 2 guys combined to give up 19 sacks last year.
Yeah, they didn't have a good offensive line last year. Bad, I think the worst in all of FBS.
Yeah. Dubose-Bourne gave up 9 sacks, 14 hurries, a hit, 24 pressures. Sanders, 10 sacks, 21 hurries, 5 hits, 36 pressures. And those guys will be starting this Saturday. Just give you a little heads up.
Defensive front should have a good day on Saturday.
We hope.
We hope.
Yes.
We hope.
So, just a little tidbit of information out there for you.
Sure.
Especially with the defensive front, we feel like is much better and much deeper than last year.
Right.
All right, breaking news from Dallas. We'll go to our correspondent on the scene live, Tyler Head. What you got there?
Per Adam Schefter of ESPN, Cowboys and All-Pro wide receiver CeeDee Lamb reached an agreement today on a record 4-year, $136 million deal, makes him the second highest paid non-QB in NFL history. The deal includes $38 million signing bonus, the largest ever given to a wide receiver.
CeeDee Lamb's a hell of a player. Let's get that out of the way now. Lamb's really good. So and we don't know the particulars of what's guaranteed and what's guaranteed at signing and all that stuff. We haven't gotten there. But you knew this was going to happen at some point because that's just the way this goes in the NFL. You know, CeeDee Lamb eventually was going to get paid. And we'll see how much of a salary cap kicker this one is. Because Dak Prescott, what are the Cowboys going to do about Dak Prescott? Because he's sucking up cap space. He can't be franchised again next year. Basically, he can walk as a free agent. And you can say that'll be great. Get that big cap number off the books. That's all well and good. And no one's saying Dak Prescott is Patrick Mahomes. But Dak Prescott's a good quarterback. He's a franchise quarterback in the NFL. And, yeah, you get that salary cap number out of town. But what are you going to do? You're going to draft a rookie quarterback in the first round, and then you got a quarterback on a rookie deal. You just better get it right. That's the thing. Do you pay way too much for a franchise quarterback? Sure you do. But that position is so important in the NFL, and you've got to have a franchise quarterback if you have a chance to win. You can't win despite your quarterback. You can't be like Iowa in the NFL. You just can't. Eventually it bites you. It's a quarterback-driven league. So if you're going to move Dak Prescott off and then you can, turn that cap number to your favor by bringing in a quarterback on a rookie deal, you just better be sure you get it right. Or if you can bring in that veteran quarterback like a Matthew Stafford, who used to make a lot of money and was a big cap hit, but now he's not quite in his prime anymore, but still good. You can still win a lot with him. It's just his cap number would be lower. That's the two ways you go now in the NFL if you want to win. So that's a separate conversation. But circling back to CeeDee Lamb, here's the thing. Wide receiver has become it feels like the second most important offensive position. It feels like it's quarterback, wide receiver, left tackle, right? That's what it feels like. But here's the thing about it. Kansas City Chiefs have won 2 Super Bowls since Tyreek Hill left. Their explosive number 1 wide receiver. New England won a lot of Super Bowls. When they had their best wide receiver, Randy Moss, they got to a Super Bowl but didn't win a Super Bowl. You don't have to have a true number 1 game-breaking type wide receiver to win a Super Bowl. You just don't. Have teams won with them? Sure, but teams have won without them. That's my point. So you got to sit back and think to yourself, all right, how important is CeeDee Lamb? He's very important to the Cowboys. Very important. He is. And so, Brandon Cooks is a really good wide receiver, but he's not CeeDee Lamb. And Dak Prescott, we know, is not a guy that makes dudes better around him. He's just not. He's a franchise quarterback. And when you put weapons with him, he can play very well, but he's not a guy that elevates receivers or elevates the passing game or the passing offense. He's not that guy. So you need weapons around Dak Prescott or whoever the quarterback's going to be. So now you give CeeDee Lamb a ton of dough. You're going to have to, obviously, you got a few other guys like Micah Parsons you're going to have to pay. You got some stuff to do in Dallas. It's going to be very interesting to see how the Cowboys operate moving forward. But you paid CeeDee Lamb. We'll see how the contract breaks itself out. But right now, The Cowboys have signed CeeDee Lamb, and CeeDee Lamb back in the fold. The surprise of no one. The Cowboys are going to do it sooner or later. It's going to be interesting what happens with Dak Prescott. That one's going to be, All right, so real quick, let's see if there's any particulars here. I finally got this. Okay, there's a $38 million signing bonus, largest ever given to a wide receiver. So we'll see how the total package breaks down here before it's all said and done. Yeah, CeeDee Lamb's it's going to be a cap hit to the Cowboys in the future. We'll see. Michael Parsons will be a cap hit in the future. So we'll see where it goes. But CeeDee Lamb inked up with the Dallas Cowboys on a record-breaking deal, second highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. So it's a huge deal. And like I said, wide receivers are really important, but we've seen you don't have to have the CeeDee Lambs of the world to win Super Bowls. And I think every wide receiver's case, it's each one like Brandon Ayuk in San Francisco. The 49ers, they eventually got the contract done with Deebo Samuel, right? They redid Christian McCaffrey. They got Trent Williams, the left tackle, a big free agent deal. They have paid guys. They've paid George Kittle. Why aren't they paying Brandon Ayuk yet? Is it just because they paid so many people that they can't pay Brandon Ayuk but X amount of dollars and that's what they're offering? Or are they saying, look, man, we've had you around since you were a rookie. And the reason you put up those gigantic numbers last year is because teams can't double you or roll coverage toward you because, well, we've also got George Kittle and Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey. We got a lot of other weapons around where you're getting a lot of one-on-ones and you're getting a lot of chances to get yourself open and make plays. But we don't think you're worth top receiver money because in our mind, if we took away these weapons, you wouldn't be as effective. I don't know. You just can't pay receivers because they put up big numbers. CeeDee Lamb, though, is a different animal. I think CeeDee Lamb's legit. But, again, teams win Super Bowls without top-level wide receivers. So it's an interesting dance that you dance with this. And look, Tyreek Hill's made a lot of money in Miami. How deep in the playoffs is the Dolphins gone? Tyreek Hill left Kansas City. Chiefs have won back-to-back Super Bowls. Last year, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl despite their wide receivers.
Yep, pretty much.
So there is an argument to be made. Do you have to pay this kind of crazy money to wide receivers? Because you can win Super Bowls without them. You can't win Super Bowls without quarterbacks. Just saying. It's a very interesting argument we don't have time to dig into even farther, but it is. CeeDee Lamb, $38 million in signing bonus, largest ever given to a wide receiver. Now, by the way, you know who's laughing right now? Jamar Chase.
Yeah, he's next.
He's next. And that's really what a lot of this is next man up. It's not that Chase is better than Lamb or Lamb's better than Chase or any of this mess. It's next man up. So that guy got paid, and that's why a lot of people think you just get it done.
Yeah.
And don't screw around. Like, again, the Brown family, the owner of the Bengals, you can ask Langston Moore, our buddy Langston, they're a little cheap.
No kidding.
Oh, by the way, we use recycled jock straps here in Cincinnati. And
that's a carryover from when Marge shot, on the Reds, right?
With the Reds. Yeah, here are the old Reds jock straps. But the thing with the Bengals, remember, when they popped a couple years ago with Burrow and with Chase and with Higgins and with some of those pieces on defense they have, we said, hey, that's great. But now here's the real question. Will the Brown family spend the money to keep them?
Right.
Or will the Brown family screw up? Now, they paid Joe Burrow, to their credit. They paid Joe Burrow. Are you going to pay Chase? That's going to be the interesting conversation because Chase is a game breaker.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute game breaker. But so is Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
There is no wide receiver as big a weapon consistently week in and week out when healthy as Tyreek Hill.
Mm-hmm.
There's not. And you saw the Chiefs continue to win. Why? Quarterback's pretty good last time I checked.
Yeah.
Defense got much better. So it is an interesting conversation to have when you think about, got to have a wide receiver. I mean, yeah, you do, but do you need the top shelf wide receiver that you pay a lot of money to?
Right.
To win Super Bowls. But CeeDee Lamb in the fold, $38 million in signing bonus, and Lamb, second highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL, according to Adam Schefter. So that's what's trending at 2, part 1. We'll get back in here. What's trending at 2. We'll check and see if Tyler has a depth chart yet. We'll get to that next. Halftime show. Terry Ford, Tyler Head. Do not forget because I will forget. The only craft beer, wine, and spirits tasting event held indoors. AC. Very nice. No rain, no heat. Unlimited sampling of over 40 brands of local and national craft beers, wines, seltzer, spirits. What's this thing called? Sips and Sounds. Get your unlimited tasting wristbands now at sipsandsounds.com. Also live music by Ken and Drew from Sister Hazel. And Days and the Donovan Twins also. That's Saturday, September 28th. Sips and Sounds. Go to sipsandsoundscola.com to find out more. Halftime show, it's trending at 2, sponsored by Gamecock Traditions and Traditions Fine Jewelry. We keep it going next on The Game.
107.5 The Game.
In Columbia.
100.5 The Game.
In Florence.
100.3 The Game.
In Myrtle Beach. The Game Network. Yes, that phone in your pocket or purse will keep you in touch with your family and friends. It will take great selfies of you on amazing adventures or just this morning's breakfast. And it's pretty good in case of an emergency. But the single most important function of your phone is the game.
But both defenses have been this year. What's so funny? The noise.
You can listen anywhere. Just go to iTunes or Google Play and download the Game app now. 107.5 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Take up to $20,000 off new Silverados.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
Carolina Honda Powerhouse is your local Honda ATV, side-by-side, and motorcycle superstore. Hunters, now's the time to upgrade to a new Honda ATV or side-by-side and get free gear. Right now, buy a Honda Pioneer 700 or 1000 side-by-side and get a free top and windshield. Need an ATV? Get a free winch with the purchase of a new full-size Honda ATV. On-road or off-road, all roads lead to Carolina Honda Powerhouse. Exit 70 off I-20 and turn by the Flying J. CarolinaHonda.com.
For appliances with Reliance's, that's Jeffers McGill.
Come see the entire line of Whirlpool appliances at 1421 Atlas Road. Whirlpool offers bigger, better, and more efficient appliances. And Jeffers McGill offers the best in customer service and low prices. Jeffers McGill and Whirlpool, your home team.
For appliances with Reliance's, that's Jeffers McGill.
Recently, the show and I were introduced to the coolest walkie-talkies, Rapid Radios. Rapid Radios, instant push-to-talk devices that provide clear contact nationwide on an LTE network. Ready to go right out of the box. Perfect for an aging parent. No subscriptions or monthly fees. Visit rapidradios.com. And for a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and get up to 60% off. Free UPS shipping and a free protection bag. Add the code RADIO and get an extra 5% off. Picture this. A stranger with a crowbar pries open a window. A fire breaks out in the kitchen. It's moments like this where every second counts. That's why you need SimpliSafe Home Security. With SimpliSafe 24/7 monitoring agents acting within 5 seconds of receiving your alarm, assessing the situation, and sending emergency responders. Visit SimpliSafeDan.com. Save 20% on a new system today. SimpliSafeDan.com. And remember, there's no safe like SimpliSafe.
The Gamecock Go Pass is back. For only $20 a month, you'll receive access to all non-conference football games, most men's and women's basketball and baseball games, and all softball, soccer, and volleyball games. To learn more about the Gamecock Go Pass, visit thegamecockclub.com/go.
It's the Love Chevrolet countdown to Gamecock football.
5 days till kickoff.
No games, no add-ons, no surprises. No wonder so many people buy with confidence at Love Chevy, home of the $1,000 low price guarantee. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Call Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning today and mention me, Bill Gunner, at 107.5 The Game to get a free hallway cleaned with 3 rooms of carpet for only $129. Book online at ZeroResColumbia.com.
Firehouse Subs, Hook and Ladder jingle, take 1.
Hook and ladder, when it's hot, it just tastes better. Warm that smoky turkey, that thin slice.
Guys, this is a 30-second ad. You gotta sing faster.
Hook and ladder, when it's hot, it just tastes better. Melty cheese and toast bread, mustard, mayo, purple bread, lettuce, green, and onion. The sandwich is too big for the song. It's too big.
The Hook and Ladder, available only at participating Firehouse Subs restaurants.
Honey, look, the hookers. They've moved off the highway and now they're all over the parking lot.
What are all those Schroeder's towing trucks doing in that parking lot, though?
Must be towing all those unauthorized cars parked in the lot. Good thing the business owner called Schroeder's Towing to keep their parking lot clear for just their customers. Didn't those cars see the free signage that Schroeder's provides to business owners to deter unauthorized parking?
I guess not.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line, 803-404-6100.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence. The Halftime Show, sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina, on your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
And the 107.5 The Game app.
Halftime show, Terry Ford, Tyler Head, what's trending at 2, sponsored by Gamecock Traditions and Traditions Fine Jewelry. Real quick before we move forward, and we're still looking for the depth chart. How's that going?
None for South Carolina, though I have found some other interesting ones around the SEC.
Oh, well, let's do that first, then we'll get back to CeeDee Lamb.
So, Tennessee has released their depth chart for today. You want to take a guess at how many oars are on this depth chart?
142.
34.
34 oars?
34 oars on the Tennessee depth chart. The only positions that don't feature an oar are quarterback, right guard,
edge pass rusher.
No, edge pass rusher also has oars.
Even Pierce?
Yep.
Really?
Yep, 3 oars on edge pass rusher. Punter, kickoff specialist, holder, and that's it. Those are the only spots that don't have oars.
That's hilarious. Holder. There's no oar on holder.
There's no holding battle.
So James Pierce, who looks like will be a top 10 pick in the NFL draft, they have an oar.
Correct. Both sides.
That's hilarious.
But
the holder, there's no competition when it comes to holder.
No competition. In fact, there's only one holder listed. That being Jackson Ross, who is the punter. No surprise there. So yeah.
Wow.
That's it.
Interesting.
34 oars. 34
oars. Yeah. I wonder if South Carolina's going to beat that.
I hope not.
All right, so let's think about it. There'll be a bunch of oars at wide receiver.
Yep.
There'll be 3-6 oars there. There'll be no oars at running back.
No, none at quarterback.
None at quarterback.
There shouldn't be any on the offensive line.
Shouldn't be any on the offensive line. Let's just say 1 for fun.
Sure.
That's 7.
Defense.
There'll be a bunch.
Not on defense.
Yeah, we'll have, but nowhere near 34. No.
Goodness.
No. And we'll get nowhere near 34. That's craziness. Especially for Pierce. Please, come on. Stop that. I get back to CeeDee Lamb. And my point I was trying to make is if you're going to pay a wide receiver, you just can't be next man up.
Sure.
Because you got to pay your quarterback. Let me ask you this. Would you rather pay a game-breaking wide receiver or a terror coming off the edge at sacks quarterbacks? Or would you rather pay a left tackle that protects your quarterback's blind side over a wide receiver?
Right.
And it depends on the players. Like for example, would you rather pay CeeDee Lamb or Micah Parsons?
Ooh.
You can only pay one. Let's just have some fun. You can only pay one.
I guess I'd go CD.
It's a tough decision because the way the Cowboys are built, like I said this earlier, that, look, I like Dak Prescott. I think he's a franchise-type quarterback. But Dak Prescott, before they went and traded for Amari Cooper, people forget this, the Cowboy offense struggled because they didn't have talent around Dak Prescott. We're talking about wide receiving talent.
Yep.
Then you went out and got Amari Cooper, and all of a sudden, boom, Dak Prescott was playing well again.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels like Dak Prescott does not make guys around him better, but if you give Dak Prescott weapons, he can play very well.
Sure.
Sound fair?
Sure.
But Micah Parsons is a game wrecker.
Yeah.
A flat-out game wrecker from the on the defensive side of the ball. You move him all over the place, and he just creates havoc. If I could only have one, I'd probably take Parsons.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the fact is, I know that you can win if you go get. You don't need a CeeDee Lamb type wide receiver to win a Super Bowl. It's hard to give up a guy like Parsons, who just does vile things to the opposing offense.
Right.
It's a tough call, and there's no wrong answer here. It's just the idea of, to me, this idea that wide receivers become more important than left tackle or edge pass rusher. I don't know about that.
Sure.
Or shutdown corner, for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm going to pay a wide receiver, like I get paying Tyreek Hill. I do. Because he's just different. But we've even seen Kansas City's won 2 Super Bowls without Tyreek Hill. And they've really never replaced Tyreek Hill.
Right.
Their Tyreek Hill's Travis Kelce. The number one go-to dude in that passing game is Kelce. It's not any of the wide receivers. Now, they hope they've really upgraded with Xavier Worthy, and they added Marquise Brown if he's healthy, which that can be a problem at times. He's a little feller. So it's a tough situation. It's always fluid, Tyler, depending on the players.
Right.
You just can't always say, well, I'm always going to pay the edge guy ahead of the wide receiver. Well, no, what if the wide receiver is much more of a difference maker than your edge pass rusher? But you got to, if you're going to pay a wide receiver all that dough to suck up all that cap space, he better be special, is what I'm saying.
Right.
I think CeeDee Lamb's a hell of a player. I really do. But now you got to pay Micah Parsons. So what are you going to do when you have Micah Parsons, Dak Prescott, and CeeDee Lamb sucking up most of your cap space if you keep Dak Prescott as well?
Not going to have all that around them.
You got to do some creative deals.
Sure.
A lot of voidable years and all that other stuff that makes your head spin in the salary cap world. So anyway, CeeDee Lamb, if you haven't heard, second, and now we haven't seen the breakdowns, $38 million signing bonus.
Right.
Have not seen how much he's getting at signing. It's not guaranteed money, it's guaranteed at signing. Because the injury guarantee is crap. We've seen what teams do to avoid we saw Russell Wilson last year. We saw Derek Carr in Oakland 2 years ago. They'll just sit you down.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't get injured, so you're never going to see injury guaranteed money. How much do you get at signing is the important number. So we'll see with CeeDee Lamb, but it's going to be large, my man. And it'll start hitting your books in the next couple of years, which again, that circles back to you got to pay Micah Parsons. And what are you going to do about Dak Prescott? Work to do in Dallas.
For sure.
All right. And by the way, when's the last time they played an NFC Championship game?
Before I was born.
Exactly.
Yep.
All right. What's trending at 2, sponsored by Gamecock Traditions and Traditions Fine Jewelry. Do not forget that we still have craft beer cards. You can spend $79 and get $360 worth of craft beer cards. $30 a brewery, 12 craft beer locations. Our craft beer card, just go to 1075thegame.com, click on Sweet Deals, and then click on the craft beer card or the craft beer passport if you want to get fancy. And you can get some fine craft beer drinking. All right, we got football tickets to give away. That's coming up. Thanks to our buddies at Carolina Honda Powerhouse. A couple tickets for the home opener. Matter of fact, what the heck, Tyler?
Let's go for it.
803-404-6100. A pair of tickets to the home opener. Gamecocks and Monarchs. Give us a ring right now, and you'll get couple tickets,
What,
803-446-100. Caller number 7.
Okay, lucky 7.
Let's go caller number 7 right now. You can win a couple tickets for the home opener, Old Dominion, South Carolina, this Saturday, 4 o'clock kick. Give us a ring right now. Again, 803-446-100. Halftime show, Terry Ford, Tyler Head. It's the greatest day in the history of the world. We'll find out why next on The Game.
The Game Network in Columbia.
107.5 The Game.
In Florence.
100.5 The Game.
In Myrtle Beach.
100.3 The Game.
Ever sit in this meeting?
What would you say you do here?
I have people skills. I am good at dealing with people. Can't you understand that?
Think to yourself, man, I'd rather be listening to The Game.
You're listening to Bill Gunner, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen. It's the early game.
Well, just go to iTunes or Google Play and download our app on all of your devices, and you'll never be without The Game again. What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevy, where the winning is only beginning. South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive. Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Let's go inside the Nest.
Hey, my name is Danny Johnson with RDJ Remodeling. Recently, I got a custom job of a lifetime. This project was going to demand a group of professionals who I could count on to understand the speed of business and get us answers in a timely manner. Rachel at the Nest and all of her coworkers, including the guys at the warehouse, have gone out of their way to be helpful. Their pricing has been in line with our expectations. Found a business I can count on. The Nest has truly been great to work with. Thank you, guys.
Come see for yourself at the Nest, 1331 Gadsden Street in the Vista.
The game of football is about pain. Ever since I was 5 years old, it's been all about football. It's been about running, jumping, blocking, tackling. I stopped playing at 31.
You're listening to Michael Robinson, retired pro fullback.
I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life. I'm so glad I met Good Feet. I'm so glad those Arch supports are in my shoes.
The Good Feet Store. Call 1-800-NEW-FEET or visit goodfeet.com.
All-American Heating and Air's proud owners, Gene and Debbie Royer.
Oh, there's many companies that don't do background checks. It's sad to say.
A background check is performed on every employee that works for All-American.
We want to make sure that we're sending a safe person into your home and you can feel safe.
Trust All-American's family to help your family.
Check my prices, check their prices, check my word to their word.
We're a good first opinion or second opinion.
When you need us, we're there. All-American Heating and Air.
AllAmericanHeatingandAir.com.
Is your crawl space damp or musty? Water in your crawl space can cause wood to rot and creates an environment for mold and mildew that can make its way inside your home. Canty Foundation Specialist specializes in crawl space repair. Call us today for your free inspection so you can have the peace of mind knowing your crawl space is dry and your home is protected. Call today, 803-424-8380 or visit cantycanfixit.com.
There's no better place to be on a fall Saturday than at Williams-Brice Stadium. Single game tickets for the 2024 Gamecock football season are on sale now. Discounted single game tickets are also available for first responders, teachers, military, and more. To see what's planned for the 2024 season and to purchase tickets, visit GamecocksOnline.com/2024. Whatever the game, whoever you're with, just catch a game.
From lazy days and spontaneous adventures to revving up and reconnecting, you can almost feel the excitement building, the road ahead, and a whole new season of possibilities. It's back to cool time right now at Love Chevy with amazing savings on a lot chock full of brand new Tahoes, Suburbans, and the totally redesigned Chevy Traverse. A bolder exterior design, turbocharged V6, best-in-class cargo area, plenty of space for the team and the tailgate. Speaking of football, every day is game day at Love Chevy, where it's all about the fundamentals, honesty, integrity, and straight talk. No ridiculous add-on stickers like the other guys. And who could forget about Love Chevy's $1,000 low price guarantee? Get back to cool today at South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer, I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
That's the power of love. Love Chevy.
If your supply chain demands a flexible workforce, hire with Express Employment Professionals. With contract and full-time workers from Express Employment, you get the staff you need and manage contingent labor costs. Learn more at expresspros.com. That's expresspros.com.
The Halftime Show, sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina.
The greatest day in the history of the world. On the Halftime Show is sponsored by 1-800-GET-JUNK. We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
On your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
And the 107.5 The Game app.
All right, we got our tickets given away there, Tyler. All done?
Yes, we did. Congratulations to Justin.
Congratulations, Justin. And, of course, whenever we give away Gamecock tickets, they'll be brought to you by Carolina Honda Powerhouse, your local Honda motorcycle, ATV, side-by-side superstore, exit 70 off I-20. You turn by the Flying J, online at carolinahonda.com. The folks over there, we've done some shows from there. Very cool folks over at Carolina Honda Powerhouse. So congratulations. We'll do another pair of tickets before we get out of here at 3 o'clock. All right, greatest day in the history of the world. A couple of did you see the end of the Little League World Series yesterday?
I did. Yes. In fact, would you like to hear the end of the Little League World Series yesterday?
I would love to hear the end of the Little League World Series. There's a reason why I brought that up. Hit it, Tyler. Let's hear the end of the Little League World Series.
The runner at second base, Norton. He gets it down. Oh, it's perfect. He's rolling away. Right there, he's going to win the Little League World Series championship.
A very interesting ending.
In shock.
I've never seen one end quite like that.
No one has. It was, to drop down a bunt with a runner on second and have it be a game-winning bunt.
A game-winning walk-off bunt where the runner started at second.
And because no one was covering.
And well, that was my question is, did they see Chinese Taipei mishandle that earlier on in the tournament or earlier on in that game where they said, wait a minute, it might have something here? Because flawlessly executed because the pitcher just gunned it to nobody at first base. That thing went sailing into right field and boom, run scored, game over.
Because you think about it for a minute, okay, on a bunt situation in baseball, typically the corners are coming.
Yeah.
From first and third. So but then again, we got to remember something. We're dealing with 12-year-old kids.
Your second base is supposed to loop around and cover, and he didn't for whatever reason.
Let's be fair. That's what we're dealing with. And so typically your second baseman's flying over to take care of second. Your shortstop's going to go take care of third with that runner on second.
Yep.
At least that's what I remember. What's left of my brain from my days of playing baseball. But obviously the second baseman didn't cover. Nice throw, though, to your point. Great
throw. Somebody would have been there. We're telling different. That runner still would have got third.
Yeah, but still. And the sad part, it was a heck of a game. It was 1-1.
Sure.
Really good game. As Florida wins. First time a team from Florida has ever won the Little League World Series. And they had teams like Gary Sheffield when he was a little kid.
I'm trying to remember. Maybe they ended up losing the final, but I remember some really good Florida teams that got to the final back in the day.
When I heard that on SportsCenter, I was like, really?
That's crazy.
I know. It's a little warm in Florida. They like playing baseball, year-round.
It's a hotbed.
The reason we bring this up is because in 1993, Sean Burroughs, who ended up playing in the majors, son of former Major Leaguer Jeff Burroughs, pitches his second no-hitter of the Little League World Series, hits 2 home runs as well, setting defending champion Long Beach, California, past Bedford 11-0 in the final of the U.S. bracket. This day in 1989. This is the iconic team, too. One of the iconic teams. Chris Drury, who went on to play in the NHL. Chris Drury pitches a 5-hitter in Trumbull, Connecticut, becomes the first American team since 1983 to capture the Little League World Series, beating Taiwan 5-2, 1989. There's a very interesting, I think it's a 30 for 30 on that Trumbull team. and coming home and the pressure on those little kids when they came home of being part of this Little League World Series team that broke that streak where the U.S. wasn't winning the Little League World Series.
Right.
And some of the stuff that went, it's fascinating. Because, I mean, Trumbull, Connecticut is not a big town.
Sure.
So, if you ever get a chance to see it, it's you just shake your head at some of the stuff. I'll put it that way. But Chris Drury, pitching that 5-hitter, Trumbull, Connecticut, won the League World Series in 1989. And that's back when it was just being dominated by, teams out in the Pacific,
sure,
Asian region of the world. They were just tearing it up.
By the way, 6 in a row for America now, going back to 2018.
Oh, yeah. Whole thing's changed a little bit.
It does.
That the U.S. is now starting to win. Another sport that no one ever talks about, but was a thing for a little while. 1950, Australia won their 3rd straight Davis Cup by beating the U.S. 4-1. We used to care about Davis Cup tennis here. Now you talk about Ryder Cup and golf.
Okay.
Davis Cup for a minute was cared about when the U.S. had really good tennis teams.
Sure.
Or really good tennis players like the Andre Agassi's, the John McEnroes, the Pete Samprases, Michael Chang, Jim Courier, Jimmy Connors. It used to be, people actually used to pay attention to Davis Cup. Guess what? No one cares.
Right.
Anymore at all. Back in 1950, Australia beat the U.S. And we'll grab one more. Where's that? First Major League Baseball game is televised this day in 1939. NBC broadcast a doubleheader at Brooklyn's Ebbets Field between the Reds and the Dodgers. So there you go. No, Johnny Bench was not playing.
I'm sure the scorebook and graphics for that game were great.
I bet you it was a fantastic. Wouldn't it be great to see the broadcast?
Oh, man.
Hear the lingo. Just see I bet you it's one camera.
Where's the advanced analytics? I got to know what this guy's slash rate is.
It's spray charts.
Yeah.
You're not getting any of that. None of that.
He hit a home run in his last at bat, and it went really far. Well, that was back when they would, fudge the home run numbers of like how far it went. Babe Ruth hit that one 550 feet. I'm sure he did.
You know what's funny? And I've seen this show. You see home runs in old days. There used to be this show called Home Run Derby.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like superstar hitters in baseball, like Hank Aaron and I think Mickey Mantle was in it. It was a TV show, and it was actual superstar players versus superstar players in a home run derby.
Okay.
And they get prize money and all this other stuff. And again, back then you weren't making what you make today because no high-level dudes doing that now.
You had a job in the off-season back then.
Well, back then you sold insurance or whatever you did. So yeah, these cats were doing this actual TV show called Home Run Derby with like superstar sluggers of the era.
Right.
I think it was the 50s. But yeah, I remember just seeing like black and white excerpts of it. And I was like, oh my God. You had like real big-time superstar level players in a TV home run derby.
Now we just have the actual home run derby.
Once a year. I mean, this thing was like every week, I think it was, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. It's like a TV show. It's like reality TV.
Sure.
Like Real Housewives of Camden.
Don't we all love that?
Uh-huh. So anyway, it was the greatest day in history world, sponsored by 1-800-GOT-JUNK. Depth chart?
Still nothing. They're teasing us, man.
They're twirling. Like you said earlier, they're twirling.
Well, they saw the Tennessee one like, let's see if we can beat that number of oars real quick.
Yeah. No, don't click yet. Tennessee's got 34 oars. Really?
Do you think Steve Fink is laughing at us right now?
Yes, he is. Of course he is. Steve Fink's laughing.
They wanted bad.
Right now, Steve Fink is laughing like nobody's business. I love Fink. Good man. By the way, speaking of Carolina calls tomorrow night, Shane Beamer, or Thursday, I should say, Shane Beamer, 6 p.m. Shane's presser at 1 o'clock tomorrow. So you have Shane at 1 o'clock tomorrow with his presser, and then you'll have Shane Beamer with Carolina calls with Todd Ellis at 6 on Thursday. And you folks will be busy. You'll be out at Gold Line Framing?
On Thursday, that is correct.
And then Friday, you will be at Darlington.
That is correct.
And maybe Saturday at Darlington. Who knows?
I'll be there Sunday. Well, Saturday.
Saturday's nothing. It's football.
We're busy on Saturday. I'll be out there on Sunday.
Let's get ready. Thursday, Goal Line Framing.
Framing.
Friday, You're at Darlington.
Yes.
Saturday, we're doing a pregame show.
I'll be at Willie B on Saturday.
Sunday, you'll be at Darlington.
I'll be at Darlington.
Maybe we'll give you a phone app and you can do something from Darlington on Sunday.
Maybe so. Hey,
why not?
if you see me, come say hi. I met a couple listeners last time out on Pit Road. Saw Lenore Sellers there. It was a great time.
I remember nobody was talking to Lenore Sellers.
Well, that was the funny thing. And he said he's actually going to be back there again this Sunday, so I'll try and look out for him. But, the 6'3" guy kind of stands out above everybody else. And I'm sitting there and I look, I'm like, that's Lenore Sellers. And nobody is paying him any attention.
How funny is that? It's because again, he hadn't played, but he doesn't look like every other quarterback. He's a big dude, but do you have his glasses on and everything?
He did.
I think it's kind of interesting that nobody really even had usually a couple people notice it, right?
Sure.
And nobody did. That is interesting.
I think we have a new record for oars already.
Passing Tennessee?
Nathan King, who covers Auburn for 24/7, has tweeted out Auburn's depth chart. On defense alone, 26 oars.
There you go.
I have not even gotten to count offense yet. They have exceeded 34. We're going for records here today.
Oh, right now, across the street, they're reconfiguring.
They got to. Let's see, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. Let's go special teams. His photo cuts off special teams. They're close. They're neck and neck.
Interesting.
So you got to go 30 or more.
Well, now you do, right?
Yeah. It's like the coaches got together across the SEC and be like, we know how much people hate the oar. So let's do more of this.
Let's have more oars to drive everyone nuts. All right. So again, Shane, 1 o'clock tomorrow here on the game in Columbia and in Myrtle Beach. And then, here in Columbia, definitely. I'll have to double check Myrtle Beach, but definitely here in Columbia. 6 o'clock, Carolina calls here and in Columbia. That's a definite on Thursday. All right, we'll get back in here. Our Firehouse Subtext hour. We might give away some football tickets before 3 o'clock as well for the opener, so be ready for that. We'll let you know when to give us a ring between now and 3. Also, we'll be up with Jay Phillips for a little bit as well on the handoff, sponsored by Little Pigs on Alpine Road. A lot to do in our final segment. It's a halftime show. Terry Ford and Tyler Head on the game.
From the Midlands to the PD to the beach.
The Game Network.
Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. A true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
This is Jim Rome with a Sports Minute, sponsored by Wrangler. It's Wrangler season out there. Open roads, endless horizons. Shop Wrangler.com for new denim styles. The Chargers did apparently get a lot out of their trip to Dallas this weekend. It just had nothing to do with playing the Cowboys. It was not Chargers v. Cowboys. It was Chargers v. Dallas Hotel Elevator. I'm Jim Rome.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Right now at Wendy's, you can get a small Frosty for $1. And literally everyone is going. The car behind you, going to get a $1 Frosty. The car ahead of you, already had one, going for a second. The person who cut you off earlier, you guessed it, $1 Frosty. Maybe it's all a sign for you to go get one. Just don't cut anyone off. No one likes that person. The iconic Frosty for $1, gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only at participating U.S. Wendy's. Not valid in a combo. Prices may be higher in Alaska, Hawaii, California, and via third-party delivery.
Keep it twisted all year long with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Twisted Tea is real iced tea that packs a punch with 5% alcohol. Tastes great at the beach, the mountains, or even in your backyard. Look for the bright yellow Twisted Tea cans.
Twisted Tea Brewer Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
I'd rather ride a bike with my kids.
Faster! I'd rather play catch with my dog than catch pneumococcal pneumonia.
Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20 pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. If you are 19 or older with certain chronic conditions like heart disease or asthma, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I'd rather race for some ice cream. Let's go.
Schedule your vaccination today at Prevnar20.com.
I'd rather ride a bike with my kids.
Faster! I'd rather play catch with my dog than catch pneumococcal pneumonia.
Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20 pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. If you are 19 or older with certain chronic conditions like heart disease or asthma, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I'd rather race for some ice cream. Let's go.
Schedule your vaccination today at Prevnar20.com.
The Halftime Show, sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina.
It's time for Text of the Hour on the Firehouse Subs text line on the Halftime Show.
On your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
And the 107.5 The Game app.
All right, our Firehouse subtext of the hour. At 803-446-100, what do you got there, man?
Curtis with potentially the dad joke of the day. It just means ma-or when it comes to depth charts.
Ma-or.
Oh, I get it.
Uh-huh. Ma-or. I get it.
So the bar is mid-30s.
So far?
So far.
Tennessee, mid-30s.
And again, I can't see all of Auburn's, but they were giving them a run for their money.
With 26 on defense alone.
26 on defense alone, yes.
Very nice. And, of course, we still haven't seen the Carolina depth chart.
Not yet.
All right, let's give away some tickets.
Let's go for it.
Caller number 5, 803-446-100. Tickets for the home opener this Saturday, 4 o'clock kick at Williams-Brice versus Old Dominion. Brought to you by Carolina Powerhouse, Carolina Honda Powerhouse, your local source for Honda Power Sports, ATVs, motorcycles, scooters, side-by-sides, and generators. Exit 70 off I-20, turned by the Flying J, online at carolinahonda.com. 34 oars for Tennessee. Exciting.
Yeah, that's, look, you got to put one out, and I get it. This is Josh Heupel going. And who does Tennessee open with? Chattanooga or something?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Like, just put the depth chart out, bro. Yeah, it's okay.
Well, it's funny. Do you remember when Clayton, was it last year or the year before, when Clayton was kind of doing his pressure, he kind of started laughing and said, we put like 5 or 10 minutes of thought into this thing. Right?
Yeah, I mean, look, defense is one thing. Mm-hmm. Offense, really, offensive line is probably the one place where you want, unit continuity. Mm-hmm. And you don't, college football rarely has multiple quarterbacks.
Right.
But other than that, I get it.
With South Carolina, we're going to see a lot of oars at wide receiver. We know that.
Absolutely.
We know that. Right.
Absolutely. We just know that one of them won't be Amari Huggins-Brown.
No. Well, I get him. He comes in through the portal. There's like opening gigs at wide receiver here, right?
Yeah.
Then they bring in other guys from the portal, and all of a sudden, Amari's not getting any run. Then he looks up, and he sees what's up, right? He's like, time to go. Now, is he back at Louisville just in class? Is what I
didn't
heard
see.
somewhere?
I haven't seen that. I mean, school started. Well, I guess anybody can wave the magic wand.
Yeah,
but
maybe he's not even playing. I don't know. It's a little weird. He pieced out.
Yeah, that's a That's not a good look.
Well, it shows you just came here to play, right? You didn't care about you were looking for a place, a landing spot to get to be a starter, and now you're not one.
I think you thought too much of yourself.
Yes, and now you realized, oops, I'm not going to play here either.
Right.
So now you're going to leave to go find your next place, which basically, like, if you're looking for players, like, depends on how desperate you are, right? But if you have your choice of guys to get, do you want to bring the guy in who's just looking like a mercenary who wants to go play somewhere, really doesn't care about you, or do you want someone who's going to buy more into your team
somebody
dynamic?
who's invested in, right?
Yeah. So it's not a good look.
No, it's a bad look.
That late in the game.
Well, in my opinion, you're kind of a quitter. I mean, do you want to keep fighting for it? I mean, there's only been one. There hadn't even been one game.
Yeah, and do you believe that little in yourself?
Right. I mean, you think you can't say, all right, I'll get on scout team for a week and I'm going to go over here and I'll redouble my efforts, if you will.
Or this, right now I'm third on the depth chart, but guess what? No one's run away with. That's the other thing, too. All we heard from Dow last weekend, Shane, that these wide receivers haven't separated from each other yet.
And that's a public statement of truth and fact in their mind and a shot, I don't want to say across the bow, the entire receiving room, but to basically say, hey, guys, it's still wide open for you.
What's that saying, Jay? When you do a press conference, who are you talking to sometimes?
Yeah, you're talking more to the guys.
Yeah, you're telling
anybody
them.
Else. Yeah,
you're telling them, nobody. Hey, we got an opportunity here. Somebody's got to reach up and grab it.
Right.
And Huggins Bruce could have stayed and see if he could have grabbed it.
Yep.
But he decided to roll.
Yeah.
So
that's it's a bad look in my opinion.
It is. You know what? There's a part. Look, I get guys who leave for opportunity now, like quarterbacks. Only one guy gets the ball, right? And you transfer to go find your spot, right? Like Malachi Nelson leaves Southern Cal, goes to Boise State. It's not starting there either. But I get these guys leaving to go play. But I always think these things are fluid by situation. Like when you look at Huggins Bruce, you go, dude, there's a lot of opportunity here.
Class just started. School just started.
Come on,
this
man.
Season just started. This is timing is everything.
Yes.
It's not okay, be disappointed. Mm-hmm. Okay, I get you.
Now, were you again? Okay, to think about the whole picture. Were you told that how far you're behind the other guys, and your reaction was to, well, then I'll just go, or did you see that you weren't getting reps?
If you get put on scout team for week one, you're being told how far behind you are.
So then it's up to you. Do you want to, like you said, stay and fight and grind? Because again, none of these wide receivers are really separating from anybody.
Right.
So do you want to stay, fight, grind, work harder, and maybe within what? A month?
Maybe
you're getting more run.
Maybe by the end of the weekend. Who knows? Yeah. I have no idea. But you can't, even if he were to go back to Louisville, he can't play.
No, I thought I heard where he's going to class.
Oh,
so you've wasted a year.
Yeah.
Basically, you didn't give eligibility, but you have wasted a year unless you can jump on some way, shape, or form at this point. Or maybe, look, we also see this to be fair.
Well, again, he can't. The transfer window is not.
It's done,
you
right?
You
can't do anything.
You can go to school somewhere, but
and that's what he's doing.
You can't play football.
But maybe it comes out of this too. Some guys don't love it as much as like others.
Well, this will be the downside, and a lot of the cynics and critics will say this is why you shouldn't have open-ended transfer, and I don't think that's necessarily correct. I would understand that point of view, but I wouldn't necessarily agree with it. But I just think this says more about an individual's unwillingness to do more to put himself in position to be successful.
Or you go back to, like, people point the Juice Wells thing. That's an individual thing as well.
Yeah.
That was individual. An individual making decisions for...
I think there may have been a second individual
helping that out.
That
right.
has his same last name.
Yes, but that's the thing about it. It's like, what was the kid here recently said he got bad advice or a bad agent or bad something?
Yeah, I can't remember. I know who you're talking about.
And he left school to go to another, and he ends up at another school but he got bad.
Yeah.
That stuff is here,
why
man.
You vet the agents.
Yes, and you vet your family sometimes.
Right. Yeah. And again, Uncle whoever. Hey, I'll get you a good deal.
Hey, I'll watch Jerry Maguire.
Yeah,
I got you, man.
I'll get you a deal.
What do you got coming up here, man?
Yuva's going to join us. We may get a depth chart.
Or a lot of oars.
Or oars.
Yeah.
What was that joke?
We may need an OAR for the depth chart.
Look at you.
Hey, it just means more.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's right.
OAR. Oh, look at you guys. Look at you go. Tyler, nice work. Jay Elijah, postgame show coming up next. We'll talk to you tomorrow. You're on the game.
107.5 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Take up to $20K off new Silverados.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
Together, let's drive.
Do you like to play golf?